I'm Jessica Vaughn, Chair of the Hillsborough County School Board. I want to welcome you to Hillsborough County Public Schools. We serve more than 200,000 students, including children starting with our early learning programs and continuing with adults through our workforce programs.
I'm Karen Perez, the school board's vice chair. Our district is the 7th largest in America, and our team is made up of 24,000 people working at close to 250 sites across the county. Nuestro distrito es el 7º más grande de los Estados Unidos y el 3º más grande del estado de Florida. Nuestro equipo está formado por 24 millones de personas que trabajan en cerca de 250 escuelas en todo el condado.
Our district is diverse and dedicated. Our board meetings are held in our board auditorium on select Tuesdays at 4 p.m. The best way to serve our students and our community is to involve you, the public, in what we do.
You are welcome to meet or email any of our board members and follow our district on social media. School board meetings are covered live by Hillsborough Schools TV on Spectrum 635 and Frontier Channel 32.
Meetings are also streamed live on our website at hillsboroughschools.org. Closed captioning is provided on all broadcasts, and past meetings are available in our online archive.
We are interested in what the public has to say. We'll include time for audience comments before we address our business items. Our agenda and any supporting materials can be viewed online in advance. They are posted 7 days before each meeting on our website at hillsboroughschools.org.
Our vision is preparing students for life, and that means all students every day. Todos los estudiantes, todos los días. Thank you for your interest in education. With your help, we are making decisions that shape our community's future.
The board meeting of April 8th, 2025 is called to order. Member Perez will now lead us in a moment of reflection, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As you may know, April is celebrated as the month of the military child by the Department of Defense, recognizing the sacrifices and the resilience of military children around the world. In support of this important initiative, we as board members are wearing the color purple today as a symbol of our solidarity with military families, which is celebrated on Friday, April 10th. This is the main day that it is recognized. Your participation in wearing purple will not only raise awareness, but also shows our appreciation for the children who support our service members. Member Washington, Army veteran, was supported by his children. Superintendent Ayers supported his father. He was a Navy veteran. Our board attorney supported his father in the Army. Former board member Melissa Snively has a son currently serving in the Army. And member Dr. Hahn, she supported her children supported her husband, who is also Navy veteran. And also my grandchildren supported my daughter, who is an Army veteran.
My nephew is a ranger right now serving.
Okay. And Member Combs, both her brothers served in the Army. So thank you for joining us in honoring the month of the military child and showing our support for this deserving cause. Your commitment to recognizing the sacrifices of military families is truly commendable. Please stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. And now, Member Perez, will you please acknowledge our student entertainment?
I would like to thank Plant High School brass ensemble along with director Steve Bosset. Those wonderful students entertain us prior to the start of our board meeting. At this time, we would like to invite the students up to introduce themselves.
My name is Thaddeus Allen, and I'm in 9th grade.
My name is Harper Henry, and I'm in 9th grade.
I'm Cecilia Dickerson, and I'm in 9th grade.
I'm Brooke Thomas, and I'm in 9th grade.
I'm Wellesley Eckhoff, and I'm in 10th grade.
I'm Emery Owell, and I'm in 10th grade.
I'm Jackson Vasallo, and I'm in 10th grade.
I'm Sarah Stoltzus, and I'm in 11th grade.
Good afternoon. My name is Stephen Bossert, and I am the Director of Orchestras at HB Plant High School. These are members of our bass ensemble that we have at Plant High School. I would like to thank all of you for your supporting music education here in Hillsborough County, and hopefully we will continue to be a top 100 music education community in the United States. Thank you.
Thank you. And parents, if you want to come up to take photos.
We have no withdrawn items today. I do need a motion and a second to adopt the agenda. I have a motion by Member Gray and a second by Member Washington. Any discussion? If not, please vote when your lights appear. And the motion passes unanimously. Let the record reflect that all board members are present. We have one set of minutes to be approved today, March 11th, 2025, school board meeting. I need a motion and a second to approve the minutes. I have a motion by Member Combs and a second by Member Gray. Any discussion? If not, please vote when your lights appear. And the motion passes unanimously. Board members, I'd like to go over the format of today's meeting. As a reminder, we are a nonpartisan board who believe that all children can be empowered to learn and to succeed, and our decisions will be made with that understanding. To pave the way for efficient and effective agenda statements and/or questions, board members will have 5 minutes to speak with 30 seconds for final thoughts. Afterwards, the superintendent can respond, and if you have further questions, you're asked to get back in the queue. Member Perez will now read the board guidelines.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As we begin this afternoon's meeting, please allow me to quickly review the format of our school board meetings. Please silence all electronic devices. There are speakers in the room behind me that allow board members to hear the meeting upon stepping away from the dais. This meeting can be viewed with closed captioning on the live webcast on cable TV and on video monitors here in the auditorium. It can also be viewed with closed captioning on the online video archive.
Thank you. We have one item scheduled for time certain, that's 6 p.m., employee input. And now we're going to move on to our recognitions. A101, recognition of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers Best Crew Award. At this time, I'd like to call up Sherry Bollinger, Supervisor of Philanthropy and Special Programs.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, board members, superintendent, cabinet members, and guests. The Bucks Crew program, supported by our amazing partner, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, recognizes remarkable Hillsborough County Public School teachers, administrators, support staff, and students for their outstanding service and accomplishments above and beyond the classroom. We are honored to have Brian Ford, Chief Operating Officer of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, here today to announce this month's award recipients.
Well, good afternoon, and thank you, Ms. Bollinger. Good afternoon, Board Chair, the rest of the board. Good afternoon, and thank you, Superintendent. I'm Brian Ford, as mentioned, all attendees, Chief Operating Officer for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and we have a very heroic story to share with you this afternoon. But before we do that, I wanted to just put up a few slides. I wanted to take a few minutes just to say thank you on behalf of the community and as a Hillsborough County community, and two sons that went through the school district, I just want to commend and thank for what you've done behind the scenes to make us one of only 7 states that sanction girls flag football in the state of Florida as a high school sport. Yes. And we're making inroads, and coming up in the Olympics, it's actually going to be an Olympic sport, but we're very proud, but it couldn't have happened without all of your support. So I'd just like to say thank you. Yesterday, if you look at the screen, we actually had a little event. It was our 2nd annual Battlegrounds, and we hosted 2 of the best. And you might not realize this, but the #1 ranked country, or school in the entire country in girls flag football resides right here in Hillsborough County. Yes. And it was Leonard, which is the #1, and they were facing Bloomingdale, which is number 24 in the country. And it was unbelievable. We had over 1,000 athletes and fans from each of the high schools, the bands, and it was like Friday night under the lights, but it was actually Monday afternoon at Advent Health Training Center. So again, you can see the next slide. These girls, there were 8 seniors from the teams that were honored and joined with their families, and Captain Fear, and we had a couple players there. But again, all this doesn't happen without your support. So thank you very much, and we are just so excited for that. We're going to be hosting the state championships coming up in May, and every year we host the preseason classic as well, and it's growing each year. Last year for the preseason classic, we had over 1,800 girls and their coaches at Advent just to talk and kind of to collaborate and trying to bring the sport forward. So thank you again. Yes. Thank you. Thank you for coming and joining us. All right. And now, as I mentioned, again, we've had this program this whole past school year, and the stories have been unbelievable, with a teacher, support staff, and a principal. But today's members, and they're joining and they're walking in, it's a incredible, heroic story that happened at Strawberry Crest High School, and back on February 28th. And joining me are the heroic heroes, as I'd like to call them. And Robert Herminda, a student, was sitting in class at Strawberry Crest High School during an assignment when his teacher collapsed suddenly. Without hesitation, he ran and got help with another student, Abigail Alperovich, and quickly rolled the teacher on her side, something that she was taught from her parents if she thought somebody was having a seizure. Talk about just taking charge and doing it under unbelievable circumstances. Moments later, Robert knocked on the door of the Advent coordinator teacher, Angela Parker. And Miss Parker and another teacher, Brandis Colburn, ran to the classroom while pressing their security badge to notify and signaling a medical emergency. That alert reached the Hillsborough County Master Deputy, Pedro Colon, who's here with us as well, and IB coordinator, Jamie Ferrero, who immediately responded to the scene. And when they opened the classroom doors, they saw the teacher was blue in color, was not breathing, and had no pulse. Deputy Colon initiated CPR compressions and then radioed EMS, while assistant principal Ryan Garisco ran for an AED. Ms. Colburn and Ms. Parker moved the students out of the classroom and reassured everyone that the support was there. And Mr. Garisco applied the AED and delivered a shock. The team continued compressions until they were able to get the teacher to start breathing again. She soon regained consciousness as EMTs arrived, and they transported her to the hospital. We're happy to say that she's recovering fully, thanks to the heroic efforts of everyone that's standing before you. Each individual worked quickly and doing exactly what needed to do, and most of all, they stayed calm and worked together, remembered their training, followed the protocols, and took all necessary steps without hesitation to save someone's life. So it gives me great pleasure on behalf of the Glazer family and our entire organization to give this month's Buccaneers Best Crew Awards to these 7 heroic heroes. Yeah, why don't we pass these out and then we'll take... We're in order. If I did it right, we're in order. And no fumbles.
Thank you for your calm heads, your quick actions, and your heroic actions. Thank you so much.
That's right. That's true. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your partnership. Thank you. Whew. All right, now we will move on to AO2, recognition of the month of the military child. Dr. Member Hahn will highlight this recognition.
Thank you, Chair Vaughn. April is a time to honor and acknowledge the unique sacrifices made by military children. These brave students face the challenge of frequent moves, leaving behind friends, and adjusting to new schools. HCPS is proud to be home to more than 4,000 military-connected families in schools and across our district. We are also proud to have 21 of our schools who have earned the Purple Star School of Distinction, including Tinker Pre-K-8, which is located on MacDill Air Force Base and directly serves our military children. A Purple Star School of Distinction is an honor bestowed upon a school that supports the unique needs of military families. Hillsborough County Public Schools is honored to recognize April as the month of the military child. The resilience and strength of our military-connected students deserve our recognition and appreciation. I just want to take a moment to recognize a few people, special guests in the audience this evening who represent an unwavering commitment of our military community. Please join me in extending a warm welcome to the members of MacDill Air Force Base joining us today. Lieutenant Colonel Richard Bottinelli, commander of the 6th Force Support Squadron. Dr. Venetia Waters, who's our school liaison program coordinator at MacDill. Miss Tanisha McLeod and Miss Shalonda Weidman, family support coordinators with the Exceptional Family Member Program. Miss Angela Ocampo, EFMP navigator. We're all deeply grateful for your presence and for your service, not just in uniform, but in the daily lives you lead in support of your fellow military families. Thank you for joining us this evening. I also want to recognize our own Hillsborough County Public School leaders, Marcus Murillo, Chief of Innovation and Strategic Planning, and Kim Sukash, our District Military Liaison. Along with our partners at MacDill, they also serve with dedication on the MacDill Council for Educational Excellence. Your steadfast efforts help ensure that our military-connected students receive the care, understanding, and support that they deserve. The month of the military child is an opportunity for us to recognize how our military children walk along their parents in service to our country. They navigate, as I mentioned, frequent relocations, leaving behind friends and the familiarity of their community and classrooms. They move often multiple times throughout their pre-K-12 education, many attending 6 to 9 schools before they graduate high school. And they do all this while managing the quiet, often unseen emotional toll of having a parent deployed or in harm's way. Their sacrifice is real. Their strength is remarkable, and their stories deserve to be seen, heard, and honored. So tonight and every day, let us recognize not just our military service members, but the families and children who serve alongside them. Let us uplift them with gratitude, surround them with support, and continue working to ensure that their educational journey is met with compassion and consistency. May God bless our military families, and may God bless the United States of America. Thank you. I'd like our visitors from MacDill, if they could come forward to take a photo with the school board members. And Marcus and Kim as well. Yeah, that'd be great.
We got you. You good.
Thank you.
Every meeting I see you out there.
Someone's got some waters there.
Thank you, Dr. Hahn, and thank you all so much for your service to our children. Now we have AO3, Recognition of Autism Spectrum Disorders Month. Member Rendon will highlight this recognition.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Hillsborough County Public Schools celebrates our rich diversity and inclusivity as we honor students with on the autism spectrum with Autism Spectrum Acceptance Month. HCPS serves more than 4,000 students who are on the autism spectrum, and we celebrate and thank the educators and dedicate themselves to serving these students. Evidence-based education practices, along with early intervention, provide a great benefit for people with ASD. Hillsborough County Public Schools is proud to have a long history of implementing innovative research-based practices for students with ASD, while supporting inclusive and celebrating neurodiversity. With this recognition, Hillsborough County Schools joins parents, caregivers, community members, teachers, and students in recognizing the amazing talents and abilities of individuals with and on the autism spectrum. I want to thank all of our educators, all of our parents, and all of our dedicated community members that every single day work with individuals with autism to celebrate their highs and their lows, and to celebrate what makes each of them unique in their own individual ways. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Rendon. We will now move on to public comment. The board welcomes comments from citizens and values your input to the board. In order to provide the most comprehensive responses to your comments, our staff will follow up with you and keep our board member informed of the responses. Our school board respects the public's right to speak to the board, and we appreciate you taking your time to be here. However, it's requested that when you address the board, comments are not directed personally against a board member or a staff member, but rather directed at the issues. Any behavior intended to interrupt the orderly conduct of this meeting will not be allowed, and our civility policy is in place. When addressing the board, please state your name and speak clearly into the microphone. This afternoon, each speaker will have 3 minutes. Reminder that your 3 minutes starts when you begin speaking. When there are 30 seconds left, you'll see a yellow light on the lectern. A red light and a chime will indicate when your time is up. I will now call up the first 5 speakers, please.
Good evening. I am Nicole Brown Collins. I'm with High Five Inc. We are partners with Host, and we just really wanted to say thank you. So good evening, members of the school board, Superintendent Van Ayers, and esteemed staff. First and foremost, we would like to extend our heartfelt gratitude for each of you for your continued support for our locations. Your support has been instrumental in creating a nurturing environment for all of our students. A special thanks goes specifically to our superintendent and his dedicated team, particularly Mike McManus. His support has been absolutely stupendous in all of our sites. Your commitment to our mission is evident in everything you do, and we truly appreciate your efforts. We would also like to acknowledge the principals and staff of our schools. Their hard work and dedication have made a significant impact on our students and their families, fostering a sense of community and belonging. We have seen remarkable success with our clubs, our parent engagement events this past year, from the color runs to book drives, collaborating with our PTAs. Our High Five team has gone above and beyond to enrich the lives of our students and truly become a thread in the fabric of all of our schools. These initiatives have not only strengthened our programs, but have also created lasting connections with our parents, staff, and the broader community. As we look ahead, we are excited about the opportunities that await us. Together, we have the power to make a positive impact on Hillsborough County students in the after-school space. Let's continue this journey with enthusiasm and commitment to enrich the lives of our children every day that we serve. Thank you once again for your support and partnership. We look forward to another great year filled with growth and success for our country's most valued members, our children.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
I'm John Streeter. I used to work for you guys for about 24 years, but I'm here just to talk about some of the work in the community that NAACP has done, that I'm part of. And while I was aware of youth program and the AXO program and the sending people to competitions nationally and getting awards, I just lately picked up on some of the basic reading program that's been going on, that's just really getting started. And for a teacher to have kids get excited, that's a big deal. And so when I heard, description of young people at the book, and they're reading to each other, and they're coming and they're excited, and look at this, and I just, I got excited. I just wanted to share that, that part of the reading program that NAACP is starting and has worked with on the campus and reaching out for the future, and I thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Cynthia Weiss. I'm a Tampa resident. After spending over 40 years as an executive in corporate America, I'm now honored to volunteer for the Hillsborough School District. I volunteer in a transitional elementary school as a translator for Spanish-speaking children in a kindergarten class, as well as providing some additional emotional support for a significantly vulnerable population in the class. Many of the children in the classroom not only have language challenges, but struggle with learning differences and the effects of abject poverty. There are 24 children in the class, with the only support being my 3 to 4 hours there a week. I understand that Renaissance funding is being eliminated, which likely benefits this classroom teacher, although I've not discussed this with her. The elimination of this additional pay is unconscionable. Especially given the number of existing openings, it does not seem the time to punish our hardworking teachers in the most challenging environments. The second issue I'd like to address is the potential cutting of IB, ACE, and AP funding. I'm a Hillsborough Education Foundation mentor to 2 high school students. One student at Hillsborough High is an Ethiopian immigrant in the IB program. Star student, active in student government, along with a number of volunteer activities. She hopes to be a biochemist and dreams of attending Harvard. The second is at Jefferson in the criminal justice program. Frankly, her schedule exhausts me just looking at it. All honors, AP, and ACE classes, and she's in junior ROTC. She's an American born to Guatemalan immigrants. She hopes to be the first in her class to attend a 4-year school. These two young women have the potential of making America proud. They already make me proud. Eliminating programs for high-potential high school students only serves to lock them into a lifetime of poverty. If we don't provide the most opportunities for learning, what is the expectation for high-achieving students to enjoy meaningful employment in their future, or even earlier getting into the most competitive colleges? Most colleges look at IB, ACE, and honors classes as requisites for admission. The common link between the work I do at the high school level and the elementary level is the current situation with ICE. I have no idea the immigration status of my kindergartners or high school mentees' parents, nor do I care, but the mere possibility of parents being snagged at schools, how do you think that will impact their learning? I implore you to do what you can to preserve the educational programs in place, ensure students of our most vulnerable population are getting paid, and protect our students from the horrors of the current immigration nightmare.
Thank you. Can I please call up speakers 5 through 10 as well? Next speaker, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Drew Vaughn. I am a parent of 4 students in Hillsborough County Schools. I'm here as their dad because I am very worried about them. All 4 of my children are adopted. 3 of them are Latino. The issue of immigration coming into our schools is terrifying to me. This is one of my children's report cards. If immigration were to come into their school today and ask for this piece of paper, to ask for this report card, they could not get it unless they had a subpoena. That's a requirement under FERPA for them to protect my child's records. My child's report card is protected. If that same immigration officer came into the school and didn't say, I want Eduardo's report card, instead they said, I want Eduardo, they don't have to have a warrant. They don't have to have a subpoena under current policy here in Hillsborough. It is unacceptable that my child's report card is safer than my child. That cannot happen. We can do better than this, and we even have models here in the state of Florida. Lee County and Polk County have already come out with guidance specifically requiring that a judicial warrant be issued before a student is accessed in a non-public space. Hillsborough County can adopt that policy today. I urge you, as a parent, I beg you to do this. As someone who grew up poor on a farm, public schools changed my life. I got to go on to college, to law school, to get an MBA. None of that would have been possible without public schools. My wife was a public school teacher. All 4 of our kids are in public school. One last thing I would urge you to consider. We know that many people in this state will push for vouchers and moving students towards private schools. Private schools require a warrant to enter. I do not want to see us lose more students because we do not provide the same protections that a private school can. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hi, my name is Kyle Schiff. I am a resident of Hillsborough County, and I would like to speak about the fraud that is being perpetrated against taxpayers by the school bus safety program that is managed by an outside vendor named Bus Patrol. I was surprised one day to come home to a letter in the mail notifying me that I had illegally passed a school bus. However, I am not here to debate my innocence, but rather bring attention to the issue that this program was hastily implemented and the county and both Bus Patrol are raking in large amounts of profits under the pretense that they are protecting children when the reality is they are extorting taxpayers to generate more revenue. Historically, Florida averaged about 27 citations total a year. In the first 3 months of this program alone, Hillsborough County has issued over 60 case citations and accrued $2 million in revenue, which is now upwards of $6 million that Bus Patrol has retained 2/3 of. In addition, the county is paying hundreds of thousands of dollars in monthly fees to this vendor, Bus Patrol. At the beginning of March, it was uncovered in Miami that tickets were erroneously being sent out to taxpayers. What this tells us is that tickets are not adequately being reviewed by both the vendor and the local sheriff's department, which they are clearly understaffed to manage. However, there is no incentive to actually review these tickets, as only 5% of offenders actually contest these tickets. When this program was rolled out, the court system and due process was not fully in place. When the school board was pressed on this fact, and I'm paraphrasing, they said that the courts were not their role. But I thought all public officials had a responsibility to uphold due process. Part of the issue of this system is that it does not protect students in real time, but acts as a means to retroactively punish violators and adds a strain to the court systems given it was hastily implemented. Children are sacred, and protecting them is paramount. I am not arguing against expanding ways to keep them safe, but what was clearly a hastily implemented program that is essentially generating more revenue for the local county and turning children into another revenue stream. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hello, my name is Tiffany Johnson, and I am a resident of Hillsborough County. So I too am here to discuss the citation program that's in place. The only thing I want to ask of the school board, if there are discrepancies that are currently in the program as what's related to the actual Senate Bill 766, is the school board prepared to then have litigious actions that come after and the taxpayers to be impacted by that? There are discrepancies in how the citations are coming out. There are discrepancies in the school buses themselves by not having the actual arms, by not stopping appropriately. I cannot tell you the number of times a day that I have gone down 301 and seen school buses that are sitting empty. However, a stop sign comes out. So if you're familiar with 301 in Riverview, you'll realize that there could be, well, now we're down to 4 lanes, but there's typically 6 lanes, right? And if the school bus is on one side and is stopping with the stop sign out, anyone who has passed, even though that bus is empty, is now subject to a citation. And I don't believe they have the proper people that are in place to vet these citations. So having stated that, I'm asking the school board to definitely look into this, because if the citations are not being properly issued, I am not disputing the fact that we need to protect the children. Please protect the children. Even go above and beyond. But if the program itself needs some attendance, please take these requests seriously and look into it. Thank you for my time.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
I'm back. Joe Robinson. Enough is enough. Player haters, elitists, and hypocrites, go home. Divine Nine, pray for me. Let me give you some history. Manning versus Hillsborough County Public Schools, 1950s. Discrimination suit about unfair treatment of blacks and others in Hillsborough County. Warren Dawson went to his grave defending that. Judge Kavakovich in 2001 granted this district unitary status. Carol Cadell and Dr. Sam Horton created the first satellite agreement with the NAACP on Martin Luther King. Around 2007, I was there as part of the OSD office that was started with 42 Bucks with Mr. late Henry Ballard and Bob Morrison. 2019, the NAAC MOA is issued But let me back up. Dr. Sykes modified the original satellite office agreement so we could meet over on Martin Luther King in that bigger conference room where OSD sits now in the double wide trellis because they wouldn't give us a building. 2019, the first MOA, I'm the author, the drafter, the reviewer, and the signature on that with Yvette Lewis when I was involved with NAACP. I wrote it, I drafted it, and I know all about it. MON 2, I was involved with that. That was issued so we can get an office, have a bigger space for OSD, so we can provide wraparound services, provide tutoring, provide businesses, small minority women, and everything else as a partner with the NAACP since the 1950s in trying to deal with the issues of suspensions and everything else that go on. 2021 added the game changers of the NAACP verbatim, me and Mary Lou Whaley. Took a long time and got it approved by the NAACP legal staff and the board a couple of times. Mrs. Lindgren, thank you. I move on to say this. I've been suspended. I was suspended on the NAACP, and that letter that everybody's talking about, I had it written by Addison Davis. It was because of me. The only reason it was written is because I needed Mr. Gibson, the attorney from Wake Forest First, to give me something that said I was not lying about the NAACP violated the MOA. The reason the MOA does not say that anybody can meet out there is because I didn't have time to do it. I got suspended before I could get Yvette Lewis and us to change it so that people could come out there. They're doing the right thing. Students, children, the Divine Nine, and everybody else are meeting out there. It took 40, 50 years to get that space. I'm asking for a motion from this board to this superintendent who's over all contracts to amend that agreement so that people can meet out there other than just the NAACP. It was an oversight by me and others that it was not corrected, but since I was suspended for 6 years, but I'll tell you this, the FBI is still investigating that. That ain't over with now. The FBI investigating that, so I'm going to leave that. With that, please amend it. I don't want to bring any other federal jurisdictions in here to get it amended. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good afternoon. I'm John Green. I'm here to speak about the NAACP and being on the property. My thing is, it's not about the person, it's about the organization doing what they're supposed to do for the community. The school board doesn't need to hold the NAACP or have the NAACP in that space when we got plenty of churches in our community who can assist them in doing what they need to do. The next thing is, I'm going to read from the MOA that Mr. Robinson wrote from. And if anybody wants to see it, I got the first original, the amended, and the other one. So it says, sublease, Section 8. It's not on there. I'm going to get to that one. It says the organization does not have the right to sublease to or allow any other organization or person to use any portion of the site during the term of this agreement. That's what y'all wrote. That's the agreement, right? So moving to what you see in there. When I first got here, I spoke on this issue, right? 2 weeks later, I got a cease and desist. Now, if you're looking at your letter, you have a discrimination clause. It's a discrimination clause that you have saying that they cannot discriminate against any person, right? No, I'm not an NAACP member. I'm a former member, right? I don't go to the property. I've been to the property maybe once, but it does say, nor will the organization deny any person the opportunity to participate in any activities conducted on the site except pursuant to legitimate and formally applied restrictions or classification based on age or physical. So I get the cease and desist, which y'all can see in front of y'all, right? So, and they send me this letter telling me that being that I'm not a member, the only way I can participate is to bring it to them. So how can I bring it to them, right? If I can't participate. So why would they shut me down? And to shut me down, right, based upon y'all agreements, I feel that now it's the school board who's perpetuating the dissension and division in the community, right? Have thee. All I ask is that y'all reconsider this, get them, release them from this bond, because they have to defend y'all if any claims or any lawsuits or anything. That's part of the agreement. Anybody want to read it? I have it with me. Just release them. Let them go. Let the churches pick up the weight, right? We in the black community, right? And I'm not downing anybody. And I had my conversation with the president. She knows my point of view, and I know hers. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I also call up speakers 11 through 15, please? Next speaker.
Good afternoon. My name is Zakiya Smith, and I am a Hillsborough County resident and also a mom of a student. And I came here today because even as I read this sign, preparing students for the future, my biggest concern is that I have a sophomore who's in the magnet program at Blake High School. She has not had an English teacher since before winter break. And I found out that they are also short 4 English teachers in the department. So how are we preparing our students for life and for the future when my child does not even have an English teacher? And even when contacting the school, we get a letter at the end of 3rd quarter to say, oh, your child has a substitute. I've already known that for the last 11 weeks that she's had a substitute, and that the substitute basically just comes in, sits there, takes attendance, and sits on their phone. And in the letter, it even states, this quarter, your child will be graded on accuracy, not just completion. How is that possible when she's not getting any instruction and she's supposed to be prepared to take an EOC that will make or break whether or not she graduates from high school? That's all I needed to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good afternoon, Superintendent Van Ayers, Madam Chair and board members, school staff members, and members of the community. My name is Melanie Williams, and I'm a proud Tampa native, an Army veteran who has the honor of serving in our community's public school system as a paraprofessional for pre-K ESC students. During my time working with young students, I witnessed something deeply concerning: an overwhelming amount of edible, unopened, and untouched food being thrown away in school cafeterias each day. Milk cartons, fruit, vegetables, and other food items, all discarded, even as many children in our community quietly struggle with food insecurity. This issue is bigger than any one school. According to the U.S. Department of Agriculture's Economic Research Service, approximately 530,000 tons of food are wasted every year in K through 12 schools across the United States. The waste translates to an estimated $1.7 billion in taxpayers' funded meals lost annually. The Bill Emerson Good Samaritan Food Donation Act was created to protect those who donate surplus food in good faith, including schools. In a 2012 USDA memorandum, schools participating in the National School Lunch Program were reminded that they may donate leftover food and are encouraged to do so in a safe and responsible manner. The USDA and EPA's draft national strategy for reducing food loss and waste further emphasizes the importance of prevention through education. Under Objective 2, Strategic Action B calls for teaching children about strategies to reduce food waste, noting that early education can shift long-term behaviors before wasteful habits are formed. Unfortunately, what I've observed reflected a breakdown in awareness and application of these existing guidelines. Many staff members, administrators, and parents, including myself, simply didn't know these policies were in place or didn't know how to act on them. The gap has led to preventable waste, a lack of stewardship over taxpayer dollars, and missed opportunities to meet the needs of hungry students. The issue is not just about food, it's about leadership, responsibility, and values. It's about educating our communities and holding ourselves accountable, not only for how we serve meals, but how we teach children to value them. Thank you for listening today, and due to time limitations, I welcome the opportunity to continue this conversation with you to explore effective solutions already in place and to work together to ensure that we turn this challenge into lasting change. Thank you again.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Alan Brewster, board members, superintendent. You know, I've been coming here for a while about Gaither High School and the leadership. I'm going to say this. School is not a prison. ISS is an overkill. When did ISS become a holding cell? A month ago, teacher called our house. Oh, your student's gonna get ISS for skipping. Really? For skipping? Why didn't you send them to class? Right? And then we have compliance doing an investigation about the two coaches. The compliance did their investigation. They only interviewed the teachers. They didn't talk to my son, but they came to the conclusion that a 14-year-old should apologize to the coach because, quote unquote, he lied to him and he broke the trust. I say that's baloney. Okay? Because why didn't you talk to him? There's a whole lot of other underlying issues at Gaither High School. But what's not going to happen, you're not going to sit up here and say a brown kid got a tail, Caucasians, all of them was not his color, did not look like him, didn't have his hair complexion, tell this 14-year-old he got to apologize, be the bigger person. The bigger person. When, if they would have interviewed my son, they would have known that there was some discrepancies in what that coach was saying. Now, I'm going to say this. The leadership at Gaither, 2 thumbs down. The coach, the football coach at Gaither, gotta go. Okay? Gotta go. If you guys don't want to listen to me, that's fine. But I'm telling you, when you go there, you're not going to see it. I got receipts on my phone, dates, times, the people who did and said what. I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting. Because they're going to keep messing with my kids, and y'all going to be in for a rude awakening.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Hi, Tina Williams Brewster. Go, that's my husband, and I got his back. I'm here once again to talk about communication and transparency. I've been coming before this board for, it'll be 10 years now. Why do we do what we do? We have a pipeline to prison, not a pipeline to education. What are we preparing our students for? We want our children to do this and do that, but the adults, I just want to speak to adults right now. I have 6 children from 25 to 14. I have 1.5 grandchildren. We are role models whether you sign up to be a role model or not. If you are in education, we wear many hats. We're just not a teacher. You're a coach, you're a confidant. Sometimes you have to be a mother, a father, a counselor. No, you didn't go to school for that, but that's what you are. Sometimes you're the only positive role model that someone sees. No, you did not ask, but yes, you did. When you decided to become a teacher, you answered the call to be a role model. Now, I am sick and I am tired. And I'm sick and tired of saying I'm sick and tired when it comes to my children. I've been here for 10 years. In every school, let me repeat, Every single school my children have been in has been a problem. Every single school. When, board members, because I'm holding you all responsible. You pick these administrators, you okay them. Who's vetting them? We weren't that long ago in chains. Now we got the minds. I refute. My son is not going to be a statistic. Because guess what? I got his back, front, and side. And unlike a lot of kids here, he's got 2 parents who love him. See, I'm a movement by myself, but you done woke up the force. The force is coming. Hillsborough County, you've already been proven, documented that you have discriminatory practice against brown and black children, specifically boys. My son will not be a statistic. Do you hear me? My son, Xavier, will not be a statistic. Great house of intelligence. He will prevail. And if you're not going to do anything, I'm coming. Dates, names, times, and receipts. One thing about us, I don't make a threat. I promise you. Get ready. I'm coming. People not doing their jobs. You know me, Ayers. You know what? I've never lied to this board. I've never lied. You can say whatever you want about me. Know that I'm coming.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Julia Jackson, retired educator of 25 years with Hillsborough County. Florida leadership has made it clear where the priorities lie, and it's not with our children. Instead of ensuring students receive a quality education, nutritious meals, safe housing, Governor Ron DeSantis has legislated super majority or rolling back child labor protections. HB 1225 SB 918 is a direct attack on our children's well-being and a gift to corporations looking for cheap labor at their expense. If passed, HB 1225 SB 918 would allow 16 and 17-year-olds to work longer hours on school nights while eliminating mandatory break requirements. This legislative prioritize cooperate greed over health, safety, and academic success of our children. It is not about economic opportunity. It is about economic exploitation. For all students, especially black students, the consequences are severe. Research shows that students working excessive hours struggle academically, leading absentees, poor performances, and higher dropout rates. Instead of addressing these inequities, HB 1225 SB 918 will deepen them, making it harder for students to achieve long-term success. Who benefits from this? Not the students falling asleep in classrooms after late-hour shifts, not the young workers developing long-term health issues due to lack of breaks, not the families hoping for brighter futures for their children. The only beneficiaries are businesses profiting off exhausting teenagers while lawmakers look the other way. NAACP members, take action. The NAACP Florida State Conference is calling on every member, branch, and supporter to mobilize. Contact your local representatives. They demand they vote no. Call your offices. Send emails. We urge all the NAACP youth organizations. Governor DeSantis and the legislative supermajority are once again using our children as pawns of corporate greed. On the other end of this, the Hillsborough County chapter of the NAACP has not made this call to action here in Hillsborough County. They have not made it a call to justice for us to know about this conflict. You know why? Due to the free rent on the property of Hillsborough County School.
Thank you. Next speaker, please. Thank you. Also, can I please call up speakers 16 through 20?
Good afternoon. I'm Bishop Michelle B. Patty. Let me start by saying that this is a dark day for this community, that you have the Divine Nine to come out and fight for free rent. Fight that a contract, the MOA, be modified. And I'm glad they're here so you can see that these are the people that has been violating the contract. No one has said anything about pastors who have had to pay $72,000 a year for 4 hours on a Sunday to be on this property. Also, you just heard Ms. Jackson read, that was a call from the NAACP National Headquarters, and not one call has been given from the Hillsborough County branch. Why? Because of free rent. Her hands are tied out at that Gary Adult Center, and you all are sitting here allowing this to happen, not because you care about people. It's because you want this silence to be carried on. The veterans, nobody's speaking out on their behalf. No one is talking about Social Security. No one is speaking about the children, the immigrant children that cannot be taught because they're somewhere hiding because they would be deported to another country. So this is what they came for? Foolishness, to stand up here and fight for free rent? There is something wrong with Hillsborough County when we have people that does not care about educating our children. You heard the parents stand here and say what has been going on with their children, but they have no leadership here in the Hillsborough County NAACP. It is a social club that is not benefiting this community. So we're saying untie their hands and allow them to either pay rent, they can stay there, pay rent, like other organizations on these properties do. They pay rent or you let them go. So if you all thinking that because y'all, the Divine Nine, I like them. Hey, my niece is an AKA, but they stand for what's right. And I think a lot of them are here today don't even know about the MOA, that they have been violating that contract. Your attorney said they violated, but I was told by a board member, contracts are violated all the time. I was also told that they didn't care what happened. She never allowed y'all to know that the NAACP in Fort Lauderdale issued a warning that they was in trouble about the violence, that people would be shooting at the school. It came from the NAACP themselves. So why are we putting our heads in the sand and continue to allow this foolishness to go on? Because our allegiance to the Divine Nine, or will you have allegiance to the children and the parents that you stood before and said you wanted to represent?
Thank you. Next speaker, please. Please be orderly to our speakers. Please show respect to each and every speaker, please. Please allow our speakers the space to speak, please. Superintendent Ayers. I want everyone to have the opportunity to speak. I don't want to have anyone removed. So please just allow each person to be able to speak so we can hear everybody. Everyone should have an opportunity to speak. I'd appreciate it. Thank you. You may begin.
Honorable board members, Superintendent Ayers, Ryan Hazinski, former Hillsborough County educator for nearly 20 years. Wanted to come give you an in-person update about the Ardent Blockchain Education Initiative. I, in fact, just sent you the March update to all of your emails if you wanted to read through it. A lot of exciting things have been happening across the last few months. I went to Orange County last month, and I will be meeting with the Executive Director of Career and Technical College, Rosa Grant, on Thursday afternoon. So looking forward to hopefully get some traction here in my home county, because I really want to see this happen here. Hillsborough is a special place for me. This is always going to be my home. I'm going to all these other counties. I'm having lots of traction there. And we're starting to also expand what we're going to offer. So my wife, who is a 23-year national board certified teacher, she's actually been working with me to build curriculum. And we're now getting beyond just simply the coding aspects and the more technical things. There were actually Sunshine State standards that were introduced last year that involve digital assets and financial literacy. So we're kind of focusing on that because it's a broad platform that is accessible to any and all students, teachers, any adults. So we will have these online. We're going to have a new website that we're actually currently working on. And then I also hope to have about a 4-hour seminar that we can deliver on Saturdays to any high school that's open for it and just wants to put out an all-call for students or teachers, anybody who's really interested. So looking forward to that. And I know you're probably very busy. I'm going to go to Sarasota next month. And so I'll basically have gone to a lot of the counties in the area, and I'm going to be in Tallahassee next week. I have a bunch of meetings already set with a number of senators and representatives in the House that sit on the education committees to talk about this and just trying to do all this. And of course, as a reminder, this costs you zero. It costs taxpayers zero. This is all resources that we bring to bear through the philanthropic organization that's the parent of Ardent. So would love to continue the conversation with all of you. If it has to wait till the summer, I totally understand that. You know, graduation season's coming, so once May gets here, you'll get nothing done. But yeah, just wanted to come by and say hello and just remind you that I'm out here doing this work. I'm still passionate about education in a different domain in my full-time role as the head of protocol partnerships for an infrastructure provider, but Hillsborough will always be my home, and I look forward to working with you soon. All right, take care.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good evening, board members. My name is Pershelle Jackson, and I'm a member of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated, Tau Pi Zeta chapter of Riverview, Florida. I do not represent Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated, and all views I express are mine and mine alone. My chapter has an Adopt a School program where we, during the holiday season, will sponsor an entire second grade for the whole school and give each child a toy. During Thanksgiving, we sponsor a classroom or two and bless each family with a basket of non-perishable food items, and to make Thanksgiving dinner and a gift card for the perishable food items. The school we currently serve is Shihai Elementary School, and we are sometimes blessed enough to raise the extra donations and our dues that we pay because these are volunteer organizations where we rely on dues to be able to function in the community that we serve. And sometimes Whittier Elementary is also a recipient of the donations that we receive. We are able to do these activities and more by having partnerships with organizations such as the NAACP. The NAACP allows organizations such as the one that I belong to use rooms at no cost. When planning for such events, or as we gather to put together those Thanksgiving baskets for those kids' families, or bonding together as a unit during our stroll practices, we need a large enough space to be able to do the work that we do. We are able to save on those rental fees for large gathering spaces. That money that would go towards rental fees can now be redistributed back into the community projects so that we can continue to do our work. Another activity that we do in the community is award local high school seniors each year with a college scholarship funds. Our next scholarship brunch will be held May 3rd at 10 a.m. The event will be located at the Sheraton Tampa branch, Tampa Brandon. Please consider attending. We will be hosting the scholarship recipients and their families and honoring each student. All funds raised will go towards scholarships for the following year's seniors. In conclusion, please do not take away a space that is truly needed in order to help us help those that are in need. The NAACP is a vital piece to the community and needs to remain where it is. Their partnership has been vital to my chapter of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated in helping us sustain our principle of service.
Thank you. Can I call up speakers 20 to 25? Next speaker, please.
Good afternoon, district officials. My name is Jonathan Chavez. I am a proud HCTA member and a teacher at Leto High School. I have in my hands here a list of names of 32 other staff members at Leto who could not be present today. Some of them, like Ms. Rodriguez and Mr. Jordan, are proudly retired military. Others, like Ms. Cannon, Ms. Pask, Ms. Krasensi, boast dozens of years working for this district. All of us share a determination to have our support for the Florida PTA position statement on immigration be recognized and to advocate for the student and parental protections that it recommends this district and all others in Florida implement. The 33 of us, I've put our names on this list because in all of our years of teaching, we have never had our students bring such anxiety with them to the classroom as they do today. We have never felt such uncertainty for our profession and its future as we do today. We have never experienced a state and federal governing regime so eager to target us, target our students in our schools as we do today. I teach U.S. government at Leto High School. I am well aware that the school board, the school district cannot bypass state or federal law, and I would hope that by the end of the semester my students are aware of that too. But the need to take action on this issue is acute. We are today living under a federal government that has shown a shocking disregard for due process when ordering immigration officials to detain and even deport students who are lawfully present in the United States. These students have been routinely denied access to their lawyers, to their family, access to their community. They are shipped halfway across the country, and we cannot wait for one of those stories to be about a student in this district. In light of this, and on behalf of myself and the other 32 staff members on this list, I have two things to ask of the district in regards to the PTA statement. First, that the district implements a clear policy requiring that parents be notified and given the chance to be present in the room before their child is questioned by or made to speak to an immigration official for any reason. I ask this so that you protect the rights of parents to be informed and have a say in what happens to their child in our schools, the same ones that they trust their student to take care of their students. I ask second that the district implement a clear policy requiring immigration officials to present a lawful warrant before accessing any school, any student, or any record in our district. I ask you protect the rights of our students who, like all of us in this room, have a right to due process under the law. I ask these two things of you, the school board, the school district, to please take this proactive action today so that we do not have to mourn the preventable loss of any student tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good afternoon, Hillsborough County School Board. Yvette Lewis, President of the NAACP Hillsborough County Branch. I come here to say thank you. Thank you for allowing the NAACP to cultivate, create, develop, implement many programs that shape and mold all students within the district, such as reading classes, job training skills, social skills, and emotional support. Thank you for allowing the NAACP to work with the parents, enhancing their social skills, employability skills, and advocacy skills. Thank you for allowing the NAACP to collaborate with the staff and administration to have deep and honest conversations. In the meetings, we analyze the data and we develop a plan. You see, the NAACP Hillsborough County Branch realizes the issues that plague the school district is a trifold: the student, the parent, and the teacher. Thank you for allowing us to advocate for each one holistically. If you are a member of the NAACP Hillsborough County Branch, I'm going to ask that everyone please stand. Remain standing. The largest and the oldest, the baddest and the boldest, the most loved, the most hated, the most feared, the most revered, the most cussed, and the most discussed civil rights organization there is in America. Again, I want to say thank you, Hillsborough County Schools, for allowing the NAACP to advocate for all students and all staff. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Purity, power, purpose, precision. Seeing that protocol has already been established, my name is Dr. Jesse Washington, and I am a product of public school. I want to go back to where I started with purity, power, purpose, and precision. I would like to quote Voltaire, because Voltaire said something very interesting. Voltaire said that I may not agree with what you say, but I will defend the right for you to be able to say it. The idea here is that I heard someone mention that schools don't help. Go to the local church. Well, the problem that we got to pontificate about in that is that the prophets today, P-R-O-P-H-E-T-S, are about profit, P-R-O-F-I-T. These prophets they not only have grown, but these prophets are also, they're not just prophetic, they're pathetic. They are preachers who perform, pretend, promote, cry, scream, polish sermons for people that don't even attend their own churches. Here's the idea. The apostle has now become the apostate. Oh, that means the phony, the fake, if you didn't know what that meant. The apostle has become the apostate, but then watch this. The bishopric is also a heretic. The idea is that the bishopric is a heretic. Everything has a space. Everything has a place. This is no accent scene, so we don't need no accent chasers. This is not no political musings and usings that we want to hear. See, the NAACP since 1906 has collaborated, celebrated, cooperated, and participated in all things community. They never do anything that is outside of the realm of community. So as I started, and I take my seat early because I refuse to be kicked out of another meeting again for going over time, the idea is purity, power, purpose, precision. The bishopric is a heretic.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good afternoon, Superintendent Van Ayers, Madam Chair Vaughn, Madam Vice Chair Perez, and board members. My name is Robert People, and I'm a Tampa resident. The issue I would like to address is the potential for ICE raids that may happen in the future. Pro-life, protect our children. When a child or parent mentions anything LGBTQ, when drag queens want to read to our children, or as we see with books in general, that's the first thing we hear, especially as a smokescreen to justify bigotry, hatred, and homophobia. So where's all the protection for children now? Are we really to believe that undocumented children are such a threat that this is deemed necessary? That they need to be ripped from schools and without even notifying their parents and without due process? I don't know about you all, but with a 17-year-old daughter still in school, I'm a little more concerned with someone breaking into her school or one of her American classmates to shoot her than I am of the undocumented child who might be to her right or to her left. Not to mention, my daughter is biracial with a black father and a white mother. With the mistakes and blatant carelessness and much of what this administration is not even interested in correcting, as most recently evidenced with a gentleman from Maryland by the name of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, who we know was mistakenly deported to El Salvador and being made to stay there. Considering my daughter's skin tone, even she, like many students, is not safe. No one in this room can tell me we cannot figure out how to address immigration without having to treat children and their families in this inhumane manner. It would be traumatic enough if even parents are notified, but no parent should have to take their child to school fearing that they will not return to them. We have seen that this is not a partisan issue, as all sides of the political spectrum have been affected. While this has not yet happened in Hillsborough County, I humbly ask that you all please keep our children in mind and stand up for them before this happens, before we ruin innocent lives, and before we embarrass ourselves more as a country than we already have, if that's even possible by now. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good afternoon, school board. Thank you for what you do for the community. I'm here, my name is Rocky Rattler, from a retired major with the Tampa Police Department. Did 30 years in the community, and I've been working since I retired in 2018, so a total of 37 years still in the community. I am here representing the local chapter power of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. And you can see you have the Divine Nine back here too, so. We work hand in hand as a partnership with the NAACP. Yes, we use the facility for training, mentoring, teaching the youth, teaching community things that goes on in the community. We always, our goal is service. You know, that's what we took off to serve, uplift the community. So everything that we do, we attend meetings there, we have mentoring programs there, we have training there. So it's good. I have known Yvette Lewis when she first made the president of NAACP in 2017. And the first thing we talked about, I said, you need to be engaged, you need to meet people. I need for you to meet with the chief of police. I need for you to meet with the sheriff, Sheriff Chad Cronister. At those particular times, she met with them, and they had a bond. They had a relationship. And to this day, the Tampa Police Department, especially the Sheriff's Department, they back the NAACP 100%. So we also is involved with the NAACP, and we back them 100%. You know, when people say things that's not correct, we doing things that's correct. We doing things legal and by the law. 'Cause I wouldn't settle for less. So, again, Yvette Lewis did an outstanding job, is doing an outstanding job in the community. I thank you for letting her have that property, you know, and she making a big contribution to the community on your behalf. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good afternoon, Superintendent, Chair, and members of the board, as well as guests. My name is Bridget Narvez. I'm the Vice President of the Beta Kappa Sigma Tampa Alumni Chapter of Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated. I and the members, and I ask them to please stand, as well as our affiliates of this chapter, stand before you today to support the NAACP and the location in which it resides. Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated and the NAACP has a strong partnership, history, and commitment to representing decades of advocacy, empowerment, and dedication to the success of youth and the communities. Together, our Tampa Alumni Chapter, Ms. Yvette Lewis, and the members of the Hillsborough NAACP continue this work not for recognition, but for the betterment of communities. For those who may not be aware of our sorority and what we stand for, Sigma Gamma Rho sorority was founded in 1922, so how befitting that I'm number 22, by 7 educators. Therefore, education is and will always be the cornerstone of what we do. And it is our mission to enhance the quality of life for women and their families, locally to globally, through service, civil, and social action. Here in Tampa, Ms. Lewis and the Hillsborough NAACP has allowed us to continue that legacy by providing us with the space and the time for planning and conducting events around our national initiatives, such as our Women's Wellness, literacy events such as Operation Big Book Bag, maternal and infant health via our Project Cradle Care, and our annual Youth Symposium, which highlights mental and physical health for our students, STEM, and college readiness workshops for students, which I'm very proud that we just completed one of our youth symposiums just last month. The NAACP also provides us with a space to conduct meetings with our youth mentoring group, the Roars, which are girls ages 12 to 18 who are not only mentored to excel academically, but how to be greater women. And it is through this support that the NAACP has also provided us with several scholarships to help these young women to obtain goals of higher education. The NAACP provides our also follow affiliate the opportunity to meet and plan events that support our mission and our vision for the sorority when it comes to encouraging other women to get involved in the community. It has been the support of Ms. Lewis and the Hillsborough NAACP that has created and fostered, and I repeat, many opportunities for other organizations such as the Divine Nine, the community partners, and churches, and I say churches, to host events and come together in a partner to form partnerships and collaborate for the good of the community and its people. We are proud of our partnership, and I thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good evening. My name is Daryl Johnson, and I want to say good evening to Madam Chair, Superintendent, and board members. Thank you for having me this time. I am currently the POMARC of Tampa Alumni Chapter of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, and I want to talk about the importance of maintaining and uplifting the partnership between our chapter and fraternity and the Hillsborough County branch of the NAACP. Together, we are not only supporting students, we're making tangible investment in the future well-being of the entire community. Our commitment to this begins with our youth, which we have our Tampa Kappa League, which is our signature mentoring and leadership development initiative that someone else will speak on. But understand this year we will give up to $40,000 in scholarship to Hillsborough County students. That's one of the requirements. Also, let's talk about what we do, since we don't do service, because of my D9 brothers and sisters know we do service is what we do. Our commitment to the community extends to supporting families. This past fall, in the aftermath of both hurricanes, it was Kappa Alpha Psi and the other D9 members out there handing out food boxes and supplies to families during a time of crisis at a church who allowed us to be there, giving relief and being proactive to support the well-being of our community. Furthermore, our fraternity, we have health fairs. We go out and allow folks to come in from the community to get screenings and other type of health initiatives taken care of, and that's our partnership with the NAACP, which allows that. The NAACP is with us as we plan and strategize on our annual turkey giveaway that we give out to folks in the community. This past year, we gave out over 300 boxes of food. We supported about 600 families with children, with food and toys. So service is what we do. We also believe in fostering our strong community bonds. Our own senior Kappas go out on a quarterly basis to schools in Hillsborough County, reads to children, and not only do we read to children, we bring books from authors who are former educators in Hillsborough County, and we leave that for the classroom and for the library. So we had our own fraternity house from 1998 to this past fall, and we tore it down to rebuild. So we're in a rebuild. But this allows us to continue to work and strategize. I also would like to say that the majority of our members of Kappa Alpha Psi are members of the national and the local NAACP. So we are supporting the mission on a national and a local basis. And then with that, I just want to say we thank you. We just ask that you let us continue to create and use this space, not just for ourselves, but my other D9 brothers and sisters, to make sure that we can continue our support for the local community. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Just going to have the brothers step in. Greetings and salutations to the board and Superintendent Ayers. Glad to be here. My name is Al Sharif, immediate past bossless of Pi Iota Chapter Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. There's not too much to be said that hasn't been said. First and foremost, I'm happy to see all that purple that you all are wearing today, especially from the red guy. We'll move on. With everything being established, you all know all the work fundamentally that's being done competitively from the Divine Nine perspective. I believe the Omegas are giving close to 50 grand this year in scholarship. I know the cap is set 40. So it's a friendly competition, friendly fire that we're doing to give back to the kids that we all support. Not only am I the past bossless, I'm also a father of kids that have been through the system, and currently my last one's graduating this year. So it's personal. Let's talk about Madam President. Pause for a second. I think 34,000 pounds of meat was given away to residents, some of which are families in Hillsborough County. Well, all of it was Hillsborough County. Brought a whole truck down here. Where else would we have been able to give that away? And who paid for that? Okay? Let's talk through some of the things that happened. Just Elementary School. We've been down here. You guys know me pretty good. Contentious. But we were all here to fight for that, for the greater good. I challenge everyone in this room today that doesn't believe in all that we're all doing for the families. Every single person in here should have the intention specifically about our kids. We're passionate about what it is. That's the mission. It's pretty simple. The facility that she has, we're utilizing it. What do you want us to pay? We're going to take that same money and give it back to kids that are going to graduate from Hillsborough County School. Amen. We can either pay the bill or give it back to the kids. It's a simple choice. Okay, it's not like my kids get any more. I do want some scholarship for my kids, right? We're giving away scholarships. So let's think about that as we go through the consideration. Everything that we're doing, it's all about giving back. It's not about just what we get. I heard the rumors, but I'm waiting for my scholarship, so thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
All right, so esteemed school board members, good day. I am Zed Carrington. I'm a native of Hillsborough County. I'm a graduate of Hillsborough High School. I am a military child. I am a military veteran. After serving 3 decades in the Army, I decided to return to my roots and make an impactful difference in my community. Giving back and investing in our future is paramount to me. In 2023, I was named director of Kappa League of Tampa, my fraternity's youth development and leadership training component. In 2023, I inherited 12 young Kappa Leaguers, and over the past 21 months, Kappa League has exponentially grown by over 600%, with 110 males between ages 12 to 18 years old, 6th to 12th grade. Kappa League's success is due in large part to Miss Yvette Lewis and the NAACP Hillsborough County branch. The NAACP provides a safe space for mentors to train, lead, develop, support, and celebrate young men across the county, academic scholars, engaged students, and some otherwise unreachable students call Kappa League and the NAACP home. I heard the words here today. All children should be empowered and enabled to succeed. Last year, we awarded over $25,000 in scholarships. This year, we're on track to award more than $40,000 in scholarships to students from Hillsborough County. Help us realize your mantra by preserving the safe space provided by, with, and through the NAACP. My call to action, please keep the NAACP and all of its entities, affiliates, and aligned organizations at 5101 North 40th Street. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Honorable members of the Board of Education, my name is Mrs. Lucinda Johnson, and on behalf of my husband, Mr. Otis Johnson, and our family, thank you for allowing me to speak today. We are here to raise serious concerns about the safety and well-being of our son and grandchildren, specifically due to ongoing incidents at Rogers Middle School. First, I want to begin by acknowledging and thanking the dedicated educators at Rogers Middle School who work hard to provide quality instruction. Your commitment to our children's learning does not go unnoticed and is greatly appreciated by our family. However, we are troubled by the repeated breakdowns in student safety and the inconsistent enforcement of discipline. While we understand that the principal holds the authority to determine consequences, that authority becomes problematic when it lacks oversight. The question we ask is, who holds school leadership accountable when protocols are not followed? After January 21st, a student with a pattern of dangerous behavior continued to violate the code of conduct. This student vaped on the school bus and in restrooms, used an eyebrow razor to shave my granddaughter's eyebrows with her consent, pressured her to skip class and vape, and brought a pocket knife on a school field trip. Despite our reports to administration, the consequences appear minimum. Out of concern for our granddaughter's safety, we made the difficult decision to abruptly remove her from school. My son reported being bullied back in December and again communicated this to administration. There was no follow-up. He and his peers have shared that some students fight, believing that fighting will stop the bullying. Unfortunately, this only escalates the violence. To all parents, I urge you, please talk to your children. You may discover that they are either a victim, a perpetrator, or a bystander in these troubling situations. There are also concerns with student-teacher assistants violating dress codes and using their phones while working in the main office. Yet, this is overlooked. Is this tolerated, possibly due to the personal connections? There are serious violations: fighting, bullying, threats, vaping, possession of harmful objects, harassment, technology misuse, and dress code violations. To support our concerns, I have attached a formal request for a written report and student safety precautions, along with Mr. Lane's response. If needed, we are prepared to submit further documentation. It is evident that the current safety approach at Rogers Middle School is not protecting students or applying the rules fairly. This inconsistency is unacceptable and erodes the trust parents place in the school system. In closing, we respectfully urge the board to investigate these issues, hold school leaderships accountable, and ensure that all students, every one of them, are protected by the same standards. Thank you for your time and attention. Mr. and Mrs. Johnson.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Behold, how good and how pleasant it is. I want to thank you, Superintendent and board members, for allowing me this opportunity to address you. My name is Jamal Mickens. I am a Tampa resident, also a military Army veteran, retired out of MacDill Air Force Base. I'm a member of the Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. Standing next to me is Mr. D'Angelo Fletcher. He's the president of the National Panhellenic Council, Hillsborough County chapter. So I just really want to hit the crux of the matter. So we're talking about what we use this space for. You've heard from Al Sharif. He gave you a great rundown. We are another chapter, we're Epsilon Mu Mu. We do great work, not only our organization, but the other members of the National Panhellenic Council. Everything from STEM, we do student scholarships to the students here throughout Hillsborough County. So we're not just people, even though I'm a Tampa resident, this man lives in Gibsonton. We have people in Riverview, Valrico, Zephyr Hills, North Tampa. We're all throughout Hillsborough County, just as this wonderful woman, the Honorable President here, Miss Yvette Lewis, the great work that she is doing. And yes, I am also a member of the National NAACP. They're doing great work. As Al Sharif said, we come here because we care about our students. We care about our kids. When the issue happened with Just, we were here. We came here to support each other because we're here because we're doing backwards into the community. I'm asking everyone here, are we really doing right by the children? Are we talking about things that are affecting the children? And what are we doing to give back to our communities? I just ask all of you to take the time and think about what are we using and how are you being affected and what are you doing for the community? Thank you for your time. I hope you all have a wonderful day. And as Al Sharif said, I love the purple. Thank you. God bless.
Thank you. All right, we're now going to move on to the consent agenda. I need a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. I have a motion by Member Combs and a second by Member Gray. Please vote when your lights appear. And the motion passes unanimously. I'll actually now call on Superintendent Ayers to highlight our administrative appointments.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And board members, you had, there were 2 principal appointments on the consent agenda this evening. I want to take an opportunity to go through them and highlight our 2 new principal appointments, as well as highlight our principals that are leaving those sites. So we're going to start with Alexander Elementary. And if Tisha Garcia, Tisha could please stand up. Tisha, if you could make your way down to the center here. So Tisha is our new principal at Alexander Elementary. So Miss Garcia's career began in 2000 as a music teacher at Mendenhall in Oak Grove. Yeah, just kind of hang out right there. At Mendenhall in Oak Grove, followed by being a classroom teacher at Oak Grove. In 2004, she became a reading coach at DeSoto Elementary and Shore Elementary Magnet School of the Arts. 2007, she returned to Oak Grove as an assistant principal. And in 2008, she transitioned to assistant principal Alexander, where she has served for 17 years as the AP at Alexander Elementary. So any family and friends here to support Tisha, if you could stand as well. Family and friends, there we go. Come on up. I like that. Quick picture. Tisha, congratulations. Congratulations. So I did also want to acknowledge the former principal at Alexander Elementary, Christina Alvarez, spent 17 years as the principal of Alexander. And just some highlights. So they, at Alexander, which Tisha, of course, has been with Christina that entire time, you're talking since 2006, they've earned 15 A's at Alexander Elementary. And all of us that know Christina, Christina was so deeply devoted to ensuring all of her students were afforded rigorous instruction and were taught by highly qualified teachers. She had high expectations, but provided those necessary support. And the culture she created at Alexander is truly remarkable. She has left a legacy at Alexander. And Tisha, you're following some big footsteps there, and I know you realize that, but good luck to you. Congratulations, and just wanted to acknowledge Christina Alvarez for her outstanding work at Alexander Elementary. Thank you, Christina. All right. And we have one more principal appointment, and that is the new principal at Cork Elementary, and that is Jennifer West. Jennifer, if you can please stand. And come on down. So Jennifer began her teaching career in Hillsborough County in 1999. In 2006, she was appointed assistant principal at Alafaya Elementary. She then transitioned to Riverview Elementary as principal. There you go. In 2010, she was next appointed principal at Lincoln Elementary Magnet School in 2012. In her recent position, she was the supervisor of our gifted program, but now coming back to serve at Cork Elementary. So congratulations, Jennifer, new principal at Cork Elementary. So we do also, so again, congratulations, Jennifer, and talking about big footsteps. She is replacing Sherry Black. So Sherry, oh yeah. Come on up. Jamie, bring her up. Yes. Get her, Jamie. Yeah. Sherry is retiring from Cork, where Jennifer's going, of course. She's been in our district for 39 years. 39 years, and has been the principal at Cork since 2012. And she was also the media, I didn't know this, she was also the media specialist and the AP at Cork as well. So we're going to miss you, Sherry. Yeah, we're going to miss you. And Sherry, Jamie made me do that, by the way. So blame her. Madam Chair, those are our principal appointments.
Thank you, and congratulations to everyone. We'll now move on to 202, Statement of Work with Vision Computer Programming Services. Superintendent Ayers will highlight this item.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So our first item on discussion, everybody's leaving, I know.
I should have given a moment to clear
See,
the
Mr. Brooks, Mr. Faber, and nobody cares about your item. Now we're going to talk about school, yeah.
I know, right?
I'll give just a moment to give everyone get out of here real quick, yeah.
We're going to take a momentary pause for people to exit the boardroom and for board members to come back to the dais. Per our attorney, he'd like to move on.
Let's go. All right. So I'll move to 201, which is our statement of work with Vision Computing Programming Services. So Vision Computing Programming Services is the campus information system providing real-time hands-on system with abilities to manage and distribute federal, state, and local financial aid, which includes, of course, Title IV, VA, Bright Futures, and more. So this statement of work is to manage over 25,000 student files and disperse $2.5 million in federal financial funds. This funding for this item comes out of workforce, and we do have Mr. Brooks and Mr. Faber here from our career technical education program. If there's any questions regarding this statement of work with Vision Computer Programming Services.
Thank you. I need a motion and a second to approve C201. I have a motion by Member Combs and a second by Member Perez. Member Rendon, you pulled this item. Do you have any questions or comments?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just have a couple of different questions. We've been talking a lot over this last year about multiple different systems, multiple different consultants. Is there a reason why we are not, as we move into a district-wide system of focus, as well as our, we've got another system when it comes to HR and when it comes to our accounting, why are we doing another system? Why is there not a cohesiveness, or have we not had a conversation about why we don't have one system that can track everything? Because we do have federal grants that are coming in from all over. I mean, this is not issues that we're not dealing with at all other factors within our district. So I'm trying to understand why we're doing another one.
Yes, ma'am. Great question. And basically because there's not a lot of school districts that have the technical colleges like we have around the state. And so what happens is there's not a system that can do everything for us. So when we talk about the different computer systems, some of them do very little when it comes to adult ed. Some probably do about 75% of the work. But when it really comes to the financial aid piece, which is rare, that's a university thing traditionally, there's not really a K-12 system that will do that. And so really we've been doing this since 1986. we've had this system, this thing that's been kind of a homegrown thing that we've worked with. And it's really because the gaps that we have with whatever system, and I mean, we can go to any scheduling or any student management information system we've really had since that time. And we've always had to have this to kind of fill in the gaps. And I think the state recognizes that. There's money put aside in our state budget, 5% that goes for technology to be able to fund these things so that we can gather that data and report it accurately.
And I appreciate that. I just want to make sure that as we move forward with these systems, because we want to be able to collaborate, provide reports to where all of our students are going. Because as we move forward in some of the new legislation that's come down last year and this year, we have students that are going to be in both arenas on the same day. So it's very critical that we've got all of our data being shared amongst all of our systems. So I will approve this today, but I'm going to look for a report that as we move forward, if this is something we're creating, is there a piece that we need to pull out from a financial point of view to be able to address that bright futures, those financial pieces, but yet the rest of it can be in the current system that we're using, because we're going to have students in two different avenues, and those fundings are going to come into one pot and need to be distributed. So I would like to see a little bit more collaboration of how that's all going to look and work. And I understand that this is something we've used for a long time, but the tables are turning and we're looking at different facets. So if we can look to, as we move forward on this, how that's all these pieces are going to flow together, because that financial piece need to be pulled out, but then maybe it's a report. So I like to be able to see where we're looking at, because more and more our students are going to be in two different arenas under the same funding source, right? Or pulling multiple funding sources, but we have to track them under one umbrella. So it's going to be really important that all of our pieces and all of our formulas that we're using with our technology are going to be able to track that properly. So,
and then just to jump in, and Mr. Brooks, if you could also add just how focused now the student information system for next year, how it'll make, on your end, your job a little bit easier. Doesn't capture everything, but if you could talk real quick about, as we move to focus, the advantages that your team will then see.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Our team is extremely excited to be moving to Focus. It does a lot more. And to your point, I think you will see this contract decrease the amount of work.
Okay.
It will really, basically the entire thing will pretty much be replaced by Focus, with the exception of financial aid. And I think that's where you were asking. So
100%.
This is the final year, I think, that we will bring this item. But again, this company does do financial aid for other districts around that have Focus. So he's already very well aware of how that works, and we're extremely happy and looking forward to that and the man-hour reduction and all those kind of things. It's going to be a really positive for our adult and technical college data.
and I think that's important that the public understands that we are looking at a full range service with Focus. And so I'm going to be looking at both the financial part of our district, and the accounting piece is working with you on that piece, so that, because again, it's going to be the Focus added in with this financial piece. So thank you very much for clarifying that.
All right. Seeing that there's no further questions or comments, please vote when your lights appear. And the motion passes unanimously. We are actually going to go ahead and pivot to employee comment just to make sure that we honor the 6 o'clock, as close to 6 o'clock as possible. I believe we have one speaker, so please come on up. I'm going to read the employee comment guidelines. We'll now take employee input. Even though we hear public comment at the beginning of the meeting, it's sometimes difficult for employees to come to our district and attend our meetings at 4 p.m. There are many ways for employees to make their voices heard, including through union representatives, emails, phone calls, one-on-one conversations, and public comment at the beginning of the meeting. The board wants to hear from you. With this section of our agenda, we're creating another avenue for employees to speak to the board. We're setting aside 30 minutes for employees of the district to speak to the board about any issue on your mind. This is not intended to be a discussion about specific agenda items on tonight's agenda, but rather an opportunity for you to speak to the board about any issues related to your job in our district. Each speaker will have 3 minutes, and I'll call up our one speaker. Welcome. Thank you.
Good evening. Good evening, school board members and Superintendent Ayers. My name is Erin Michelson, and I am here speaking on behalf of the subcommittee that I formed with Hillsborough HCTA to focus on center-based schools and advocating for the staff that work there. I have the privilege of working at Lavoie Exceptional Center. I want to start off by saying how proud I am to work at a center school and teach the amazing students there. If you have not been to a center, I highly suggest you go. It's a wonderful place to work, and in my opinion, it's the best place you can work. I don't have enough time to properly articulate just how amazing the staff members are, so I will just say that the level of dedication you see is truly inspiring. This past school year, teachers and paraprofessionals that work at centers came together and formed a subcommittee to problem solve the concerns that we had. It was one of the first times in my 5 years at a center where staff had the opportunity to voice our concerns and brainstorm solutions. Thank you, CTA. Through the discussions we had together, there was always a commonality. We all wanted to make our students' school experience the best that it could be. But we did not have the proper resources and support needed for our student population. We talked about curriculum and the lack of appropriate resources available to us and the amount of time spent adapting and recreating materials to make it accessible for the students we teach. We talked about behavior and the difficulty that comes with trying to de-escalate students effectively and safely when there is not enough staff to support the level of behaviors that can happen in our school environment. And we talked about how there is an overall lack of professional development geared towards staff that work at centers. All too often, we sit through presentations that have nothing to do with the population of students that we teach, and up until now, we have gathered together within our schools and sought out the type of support that would be helpful for us. We have collaborated with other center schools in Florida, researched more effective curriculum, and looked for better solutions that focused on staff and student safety during behavior crises, most of which is done outside of our school hours. Tonight, I am asking that the school board and district ESE to recognize that center-based schools need a different approach from our district leaders. The same way we recognize that our students require a different approach to their learning, which is why we have them at our school. We deserve easier access to appropriate learning materials, more comprehensive training that address the full scale of the students' needs in all of the learning domains, and additional supplements for all center staff to keep quality and dedicated staff members. All of this would make our students' school experience better, and I know we all want what's best for students in Hillsborough County. It's time for center-based staff to be more than an afterthought, and district staff recognize our needs and actually listen to what we ask for and your support. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. All right, we will now go to item 301, request for proposals for speech and language services. Superintendent Ayers will highlight this item.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So our speech language pathologists, who as referred to as our SLPs, are a critical shortage area nationwide, and school districts are in competition from hospitals, rehabilitation centers, and private agencies. Our district serves approximately 14,000 students with speech and language disorder each year. Based on the 24-25 school year, contract services are utilized to cover 35% of SLP vacancies. So that's 95. So we have of 277 total units, 95 are vacant and are covered by our contracted services. And it's anticipated this need will continue. This award will allow us to continue providing educationally relevant speech and language therapy and diagnostic services consistent with the IDEA Act, Florida statutes, State Board of Education rules, and our own policies and procedures, all at our district designated sites. And Madam Chair, that's 301. And I do have Deborah Llewellyn here, who is our supervisor of speech and language, as well as Shannon Lesperance, our general director of exceptional student education. If you have any additional questions or follow-up for 301.
Thank you. I need a motion and a second to approve item C301. I have a motion by Member Combs and a second by Member Washington. Member Gray, Member Combs, myself, and Member Rendon pulled this item. Member Combs?
Thank you, Chair Vaughn. Dr. Lesperance, one of the things that, we talked about and, a little bit about was why there was such an increase from 2022 to 2025 and 2026 this coming year. And if you could just go over that a little bit.
Sure. So honestly, since the pandemic, we've had, more and more vacancies in this position. So when we first came back from the pandemic, we had some vacancies, and really we were able to fill them with one local vendor. But since then, it's gotten, we've had less and less people coming to Hillsborough County. But we are hopeful that we're going to be able to recruit and hire our own SLPs. We put them on a new pay schedule, so they're on the Health Pro schedule now, which has helped. They do get a supplement of $1,500 and a $750 licensure supplement. And then with the millage, we suspect that we will be able to bring some more people to Hillsborough. We do struggle with Pinellas because, and they're our biggest competitor because they give a $7,000 stipend to all the SLPs. So we're hopeful with the millage and the new pay scale and the supplement that we give, we are much more competitive now. Last year, we were able to bring in 15 new SLPs. This year, we brought in 26, and we're talking to a lot of new SLPs that actually work for some of these vendors who are even considering coming to work for us. That is always the goal, to get more of them to work here in Hillsborough. But over time, the rates for the vendors have gone up. The vacancies have increased. As Superintendent Ayers said, we are at about 103 now vacant positions out of the 277. And then the rates have increased over time. So if we have about the same amount of vacancies next year as we do this year, that is the amount that we have projected on the agenda item.
Thank you very much. And I just want to say thank you and your team for your leadership, your dedication. I think something that we have to talk about over and over is when you're seeing so many vendors and we're outsourcing that, a lot of that comes down to paying people. So I think it's really important as we look at, this educational budget coming up this year and the idea of increasing by possibly $62. I mean, with the cost of living, I think it's just, those are facts. When you look at the number, I met a parent today who was out there with the band, and she's a speech and language therapist, and she said, I'd love to work for the district, but the salaries are just so it's so challenging right now. So I think it's really important. I thank you for your leadership. I know that the speech and language therapists who work here are very happy. You create a great environment. I know our schools work very hard. Our students are very grateful for that. The needs are so high. I especially think with COVID, with so many kids who were, at home or who weren't really not as engaged, I think, and also obviously with technology, I think we're seeing the needs are being higher and it's more difficult. But I do see an increase with the contractors, right? And
yes, well, and a lot, like if you think back at the pandemic, a lot of people realized they could work from home, right? So a lot of these, we really pride ourselves on making sure that we have face-to-face therapists in front of our children. That's really important to us. But there are times where we have to go to someone to provide virtual therapy, which is more expensive because you have to have a facilitator to sit with the child while they have that virtual therapy. Where we try to fill those facilitators with people who are at our school the best we can, but there's not just a lot of people wandering around to sit all day right with students, so we have to pay for that facilitator as well. So we don't have a ton of that going on, but there are cases where we do have to do that virtual therapy because people during that pandemic time realized they could work from home and be virtual therapists.
okay, thank you. And I want to thank, as I said, your team as well as all the speech and language therapists working in our district. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Combs. Member Gray?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ms. Esperance, get that name right one day in May. But I do. I thank you and your team. Extraordinary work. The question I have is, number one, I asked the quantifiable amount of students we have that need a speech pathologist. I have 14,000. Is that about right?
It's like 13,774 or something close to that. Yes.
Yeah, the need.
That was of January when we do our counts for FTE. I'm sure we have even more students since then that we found eligible.
All right. So clearly the need is there. The lack of the folks to fulfill the need is also current. But what is happening, I think, is the amount of us luring more speech pathologists gets more challenging when you know that Pinellas is the differentials maybe about 7,000 more, Pasco's 6,000 more per year. And now what we're looking at, according to our conversation today, is we may be able to pay as much as $7,500. Is that accurate for next year?
Yeah, the 6,000 plus the 1,500, and then the licensure of 750. So yeah.
So that's
we'll be a little bit more than Pinellas is getting now.
That's wonderful, and fulfilling the need of all those students. And the last is a question for Dr. Patton. You know, Dr. Patton, this probably goes in a universal way for a lot of employees that we're trying to get. But let's just take the speech pathologist. My question is, have we put together, this is to lure more speech pathologists, have we put together a pre-contract binder, something that shows that we will be giving them that amount upon their employment? We do this in other occasions, but have you looked into that? And because we want these folks to come here, and the decisions are being made now, or maybe even a month ago.
We don't have a written pre-contract binder, but it is part of the conversation, and we work very closely with Shannon's team to ensure that when the recruiting is happening, the offer is being made, that once we've identified that candidate and make the offer, that it's clear to them this is what they're going to receive. So yes, we do that. But if we need to put together a pre-contract binder to have something to say this is what's available, we certainly have no problem in doing that in advertising.
And I thank you for that answer. Superintendent Van Ayers, what do you think about that, just to, again, secure those tenuous positions?
Anything we can do to try to minimize the number of contracted services employees that we bring in and have our own employees that receive, our benefits, right? That's something that we strive for. So I think it's a great idea. And Dr. Patton and Shannon, we'll get them to work on that to get that out. Anything we can do to get the word out about what will, how our pay will increase for next year. It'll help us compete for these SLPs.
Oh, that's fantastic. And Shannon, if you will, when you get that, or Dr. Patton, if you'll get that together and share it with myself, because we, school board members, can help also recruit.
Yes, please do.
Please do.
All your friends.
Yeah, and also, I just want to thank you and your team again. This is hard work. Cuts are being made left and right and center, right? But here you are just finding innovative ways to secure those positions that are so needed for our children. And it's so important. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Gray. Member Rendon?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Agreed. This is definitely a hard area to fill. It's a change in the industry, right? I mean, the change in a lot of the therapies have gone to a very different work model. A lot of therapists, whether it's speech, PT, OT, or behavior, they want to see a different model. They're not always a 9 to 5. They want to see that flexibility in their schedules. And so sometimes they choose other avenues where they can have that flexibility. And so I think we have to begin to get creative with the industry and look at what those needs are and see if we can work on some of those. I think that's part of it. We offer benefits that other people don't. Most of these companies don't offer retirement, long-term benefits, especially medical, dental. A lot of them don't. And so we don't have that as an option for our employees, which changes things. And if we have maybe more flexibility of part-time versus full-time, having that maybe gives them more flexibility. If if they're going to do a part-time, maybe they do that with a different pay rate. There's a lot of different things that we have to compete in the market that we don't seem to come about and do flexibility with that. And so I think that's where a lot of them coming from. A lot of the speech therapists that I'm talking to are not coming into our district because of that flexibility, because they see that in other markets and they don't want to do that. The other thing we need to do is we need to look within our district when we're looking at some of these vendors, looking for the ones that are local and more that we can. Having those conversations outside of the RFP time, outside of our cone of silence, really finding out ways in which the locals can be working more with partnerships with us. And maybe that's some of the avenues that we look at, because although we're paying them more, they're not getting the long-term benefits that some of our hired staff are. And so maybe if we can at least fill those positions, they recognize that, yes, you may be paying a little bit low, but then you have the retirement for the 20, 30 years afterwards. There is a cost of that that our employees don't recognize, and then the people that are outside don't recognize as well. But I know there's an area of that. I know that our speech therapists are doing above and beyond work right now. They feel the pressures. They recognize that they are an avenue to reduce behaviors, to increase education, and they feel that pressure to get out there and do their jobs. And so anything we can do to support them and provide as many therapists as we can in our schools, 100% behind that. So whatever support we can provide to you, I know we've got strong programs at USF with several speech and language pathologists at USF, at FSU, and some of our other neighboring schools. Whatever we can do to get out there and talk to them, to get them in our schools, get them doing some of their internship, doing some of their work when they graduate before they become licensed therapists completely, we're all in. So whatever we can do to support that and help, let us know. But thank you.
Thank you, Member Rendon. Member Perez?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So recruiting, superintendent, the time is prime right now. You know, I was in New York recently, and there were signs everywhere because if we don't remember, or we're constantly seeing it, there's been major layoffs recently. And they're advertising everywhere saying, come work for us. So how are we as a district taking advantage of it? You mentioned that, they're going to nursing homes, hospitals, but right now, some of the major entities are laying off, right? So those are the folks that we're looking for. Am I correct? Right? So how are we taking advantage of this time to kind of invite these folks to come to us?
Well, one of the things first is we work closely with communications to do our marketing, to make sure that we are going out there and looking, and then working, like I said, closely with Shannon and team to say what are some of the areas that we need to go to make sure we are going there. But we're willing to get as creative as necessary to go out there if it means that we need to go to places in order for us to do some recruiting. It is our open hiring season, which we haven't had before, and so we do have this opportunity now to go out there and be very proactive in doing it, and we certainly don't have a problem with that, because I agree with you, it is a challenge, and perhaps we may be able to find individuals based off of what's going on in other areas, so we definitely will be more proactive in that, provide you an update on where we are in the recruitment of that and how it's working.
Many of these facilities are teaching facilities. They work in tandem with USF, with Tampa General. They are. So, there's the ability to be able to not only recruit teachers, but also, employees that will be really hands-on in that classroom to help our students. But, being able to put that message out there and recruit them before somebody else does would work for us. Whether it's, advertising, but I saw that, as soon as you hit New York City, they have it out there. They're like, come work for us. We want you.
And Deborah and her team also, I'd like Deborah to just talk about some of the leveraging that she's done with the relationships that they have with the local universities, with FSU and some other places to try to do some of that recruiting from our end too.
Thank you. We have affiliation agreements with universities across the nation, but especially right here locally with Gannon University down in the Ruskin area, as well as USF and FSU. We will speak with the graduate programs around this time. We've already have selected a date to meet with Gannon, and we are working on securing a date to speak with the graduate programs at USF. And two of my team will actually be going to FSU to help with the recruiting over there, job fairs and career fairs as well. But we also offer through those affiliation agreements very positive externship experiences. And in fact, as I was driving over here, I received an email from one of the graduate students who is currently doing an externship in one of our schools and is reaching out because she's interested in interviewing for her clinical fellowship in one of our schools. So when they come here, they have very positive experiences. We have amazing SLPs, and they want to come, and our program speaks for itself. We offer excellent support, and each new SLP receives a mentor to help them go through the process and learn all of our processes and procedures.
Thank you, Member Press. Member Washington?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to tell you, Shannon, you're doing a great job. Sometimes, people don't tell you when you're doing a good job, but you're doing a great job because you're out there working hard to make this program successful, and I want you to continue doing that. And anything I can do to help you, please let me know. I'll be more than happy to, because I can recruit a little bit. Okay, thank you.
Bringing you on the road then with us.
Thank you, Member Washington. So one of the nice things about going last is that a lot of my fellow board members have already asked some questions and gotten some answers about things that I was concerned about. So that's nice. I think that the concern obviously is that we end up outsourcing this position, right? And that becomes kind of reciprocal. We don't have enough people. We outsource to fill the positions, and then it slowly transitions into outsourcing these positions. I'm very pleased to hear just kind of some of the changes and with the millage and different things that have made us competitive now, and that makes me feel very optimistic. One of the things I was going to ask is similar to what Member Brendan said, is the flexibility in working. So if we hire some of our SLPs, or that's what we're calling them, SLPs, but I want to make sure I have the language right. All these acronyms in education have always got me calling the wrong acronyms. Are they able to maybe work half of a day and still able to do private practice or virtual visits? Do we offer that flexibility to recruit more in our district and do more of a part-time or co-op sharing when it comes to the day or different schools? Is that something that we're looking at to get people in our district first and then see if we can expand from there?
So we do have some job share opportunities that we have some SLPs taking advantage of. We have had conversations with HR about the part-time and trying to look at, could we do exactly that, like where people could work, do a few hours with us and then do private practice or even do evaluations for us, that kind of thing. So we're still kind of having those conversations with HR about it. It does become like a double-edged sword if you go down that route, because when you start offering that part-time, then you sometimes lose people who are like, oh, that are full-time now, go to part-time, and then you end up with more part-time than full-time. So it's a risk that you have to take. That's kind of what, when we talk to HR, we have to look out for. But I think HR is willing to partner with us to look at all the options to get people here.
And is there not a risk of people jumping ship from our district to go to these private providers to make a lot more? So either way, either solution, we're putting up the risk of losing our employees, whether it's for more money or more flexible schedule. So we really just have to look at the analysis of what's going to keep as many people in our district offering these services, right?
And I think we should continue that conversation to be as creative as we can.
Okay. Well, I appreciate it. I think you've answered all our questions. And seeing that there are no further questions or comments, board members, please vote when your lights appear. And the motion passes unanimously. We'll now go on to 10:01. If I can flip the page. Network segmentation licensing. Superintendent Ayers will highlight this item.
Thank you once again, Madam Chair. And our last discussion item this evening, this item is a follow-up to the cyber incident that we experienced in 2023, and the district procured licensing for network segmentation. Network segmentation increases security by maintaining virtual barriers between networks and increasing the level of security needed to access critical data. This licensing cost is $97,500. And that is item 1001. We do have Scott Gaffner. Scott is our General Manager for Information Technology, is here as well if you have any additional questions about 1001.
Thank you. I need a motion and a second to approve C-1001. I have a motion from Member Rendon and a second from Member Combs. Member Rendon, you pulled this item. Do you have a question or a comment?
I did. Thank you, Madam Chair. I do find it, after this year of technical issues, I find it important that we talk and pull these out. I do look at this item as like a firewall, right? I mean, if at the end of the day, it's a firewall within technology, making sure that if someone does break into our system, it can only go so far, which I find that to be very important. However, it is just one piece of security. We really do need to expand all of our security to look at a whole broader spectrum. And so I get concerned that although we've got these firewalls in place, that if someone breaks in, we can only go so far. How are we looking at someone that is doing any kind of fraudulent information, or we've got situations where, we've got so many transactions going on with such a large district. It's very easy to have fraudulent information moving around that we don't even recognize. And so, although this is one piece of it, is there a larger piece that would be able to do everything for our district and not just piecemeal? And I feel like we don't see the whole picture of all the security because we have this one piece. But where is all of it, and how is it all housed?
You are correct. It is basically like a firewall. It is just a layer of our security. We are also putting in DLP, so data loss protection. So we're looking for information that might be coming in and out that's based off of content, social security numbers, birth dates, that type of thing. I've also been in negotiations and discussions with various security operation centers to help us manage this. We as a district close, at there, but bad guys are always here 24/7, 365. We advertise, rightly so, to the community. We're going to be gone. We're going to be closed. A ripe opportunity for attacks. So we are continuing to look at that. We've doubled down and tripled down on backup protection, firewalls. The next thing we're also looking at is identity protection. As most things in IT, everything starts with the user. What the user can get to is how, it exposes our data. So how do I protect that? So we're looking at identity protection NACs. So that's even more stringent controls. Obviously, it's a fine line between usability and security. So trying not to be disruptive and then move the traffic over. So if you don't need access to our critical data, you don't get access to our data. You go straight out to the internet. So these are some of the things. There's a lot of various things that the Recovery Forward plan that you all were briefed on prior. We've put in a lot of that stuff and continuing moving on. Now with where we're going, still talking with the next CTO to continue on that next stuff, along with the board members, to keep you abreast of all the changes in security things that I've been bringing forward and trying to implement over the last 7-8 years. So.
Well, and I appreciate that. And I don't want to go into grave detail when it comes to the public because I don't want them to know what we're doing. But I do appreciate the brief overview. But Superintendent, I would ask that as we move forward, probably this is something that will take a little bit of time, looking at our staff and the incoming staff. If somewhere in the next, by the time we open and we move into the full new system of focus, that we could have a full look to the board of exactly all of the security measures we have in place under one umbrella so we understand how that all works, because it's not just about getting in the system. It's not just protecting the identity, but it's also protecting those people that are coming in behind and submitting a check or submitting a payroll or stealing our account to use for something else. It's such a broad scope in such a large district that I think we need to be informed of exactly where all of our security lies. And like I said, I don't think it's something we could come up with in 2 weeks, but if we can look at as we move forward, as we move into the new system, that being something that comes to the board just to be not necessarily in a public setting. We don't want to give up security issues, but that our board knows behind the scenes what we're doing and how we're doing that, because protecting our individuals, our staff, our students, and protecting our assets are very critical for as a district. So if we could do that sometime as we move forward, as focus comes up.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, Member Rendon. I just wanted to say I'm glad that we pulled this item so the public understands that we're still committed and that we still are looking at making sure that we're securing all of our data, and that's a priority and something that's important, because a lot of times things go through on a consent agenda item and people don't really understand what we're doing to try to make sure that we're safeguarding all of the data and privacy information within our infrastructure and our networks and all of the data. So I'm glad that we just had an opportunity to talk about this so that everybody knows that we're still committed to making sure we're securing everything. So thank you for that. All right, seeing there's no one else in queue, I just want to make sure. No questions or comments. Please vote on this item when your lights appear. Member Pres, yours didn't take. All right, and the motion passes unanimously. We will now move on to superintendent comments. Mr. Superintendent?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So move on to my updates for this evening. Did want to first acknowledge, as Dr. Hahn mentioned earlier, as we celebrated Month of the Military Child, I'm happy to report that we have, for last year, we had 21 schools, and we recently recognized, and we had 4 additional Purple Star schools. So I just want to take an opportunity and acknowledge them. And those were Sumner became a Purple Star school. Adem, of course, in its first year becoming a Purple Star, Lithia Springs Elementary, and Riverview High School, all added to the list. And board members, if you remember even your legislative priority back in the day, as we celebrate Monthly Military Child, it came from this board that ended up getting to the state level about adding Purple Star schools. So it all started here in Hillsborough County, of acknowledging how our schools are committed to our students in the military. That have come from military families. So just an acknowledgement there, and it's across the state. And here we are leading the way. We now have additional 4 up to 25 Purple Star schools. So congratulations to them. This week is also National Assistant Principals Week. Our APs are dedicated and work tirelessly to bolster teachers, motivate students, support their principal, and create a positive learning community, and face the many unpredictable challenges that land on their desk. APs play a crucial role, and this week is dedicated time to recognize them for their hard work and commitment to our school students and profession. Please join us in celebrating these incredible school leaders. Obviously, our principals can't do without a heck of a team of great APs that support our principals. We heard about some of our principals today, from Miss Alvarez to Sherry over at Quark. Can't do it alone when it comes to having great APs that are there by your side. So just National Assistant Principals Week. Thank you to all of our APs for everything that they do. Want to acknowledge West Tampa as a rising star. The East Coast Technical Assistance Center, and that's ECTAC, you guys have heard of ECTAC, identifies high poverty schools demonstrating exceptional progress in enhancing student achievement for all students. What they do is they utilize 2024 grades and ask schools to tell their story in an application. Their Rising Star Award is for schools above the 2024 state poverty average of 71.6%, and that increased their school grade by 2 letter grades from 23 to 24. So just special shout out. They got West Tampa excited that they to share that they are recognized as a rising star for their efforts, and a special shout out to Principal Kevin Kastner and his entire team over at West Tampa. Couple of Gaither Awards here. So Gaither High School sent 65 students from their orchestra program to New York City to perform in Carnegie Hall for the New York Invitational Music Festival, led by music teacher and orchestra director Jacob Heglin. The students performed to an exceptional level, earning a gold award from their esteemed festival educators. This is an accomplishment only the most accomplished young musicians earn at the festival, which is a testament to the teaching ability and musical expertise that Mr. Heglin brings to his students. So congratulations to Gaither winning gold over at Carnegie Hall. I know we did have a few board members that attended the Cadet of the Year, and I just want to acknowledge Miguel Altamirano from Gaither High School on being named the 2025 Hillsborough County JROTC Cadet of the Year. Miguel and the 9 other cadets recognized during the ceremony were chosen from 5,200 plus cadets and 28 programs across our district to be named the top 10. Between their leadership skills, academics, and overall resumes, these young men and women are incredible representatives of not only their schools and respective services, but this school district. Congrats to Miguel for winning the top honor. So once again, over 5,200, Miguel from Gaither is the top HCPS Cadet of the Year. Also, Miss Brendan, I know you were there. He is going to Ohio State. Did not know that. So Miguel going to Ohio State. Freedom High School Cadet Scholarship. Congratulations is also in order for Freedom High School Senior and JROTC Cadet Tiana Calzano, who was awarded $180,000 in scholarships from the United States Marine Corps. This scholarship will enable her to attend the University of South Florida while participating in the ROTC program. Similarly, Demario Miller, a senior cadet at Freedom High School, received a $180,000 scholarship from the U.S. Navy. This scholarship will allow him to attend Southern University and be a member of the Southern's ROTC program. It's important to note, only 500 students across the nation received this scholarship. Congrats to Tiana and Demario on receiving two of them right here in Hillsborough County, $180,000 scholarship. So congratulations over to Freedom. Also did have the opportunity. We did have our Grad Nation event. It's been a couple weeks since we had a board meeting, but I was honored to attend Grad Nation in March with over 250 of our students. They came together to ignite, inspire, and impact their peers in schools and grow as leaders. This was the 10th year of this event, and I honestly look forward to it every single year. Thank you to our amazing students who participated. The Alliance for Public Schools for this year's event. They continue to inspire me. So it was a great morning and an afternoon over there. Where were we at? Where was that at? It was at the Regent. The Regent, right? Yeah, it was at the Sheraton. The Sheraton. All right. More big announcements. So I want to congratulate Dr. Jennifer Kennedy and board members. We're excited to announce that Jennifer Kennedy, we were just called by the Department of Education last week, that she has been named of one of three finalists. As you all recall, we did the surprise awards. Jennifer was was our AP of the year. Well, she sent her application off. She is a finalist of 3 APs across the state of Florida. So we'll find out this Friday at lunch. It is at the 2025 Principal and Assistant Principal of the Year Summit in Orlando. That'll be on Friday. So board members, if you would like to attend, we'll find out if she is the Assistant Principal of the Year for the state of Florida. She made it as the top 3 finalists. So board members, if any of you would like to attend in Orlando, just let me know and we can arrange for that. But it will be announced this Friday afternoon. Whether you can make it or not, we'll make sure and get that announcement over to you as soon as we find out. But again, congrats to Dr. Kennedy. Our AP of the Year for Hillsborough County is now a finalist for the state of Florida. So congratulations to Jennifer. And we've had a lot going on. We've had our Tinker Kate groundbreaking. And of course, in honor of Military Child Month, I wanted to highlight the work we were doing at our MacDill Air Force Base. I think we had most of our board members, most of you were there this past Friday, and I was honored to join you in the community break ground. Well, I guess we kind of broke ground. Kind of was already broke. We kind of just threw some dirt around. Yeah, we threw some dirt around. Once construction is complete, this campus, which will be remarkable to see. I mean, this is going to be something nationwide, looked on a base military installation for what Hillsborough County Public Schools provides. If you look at some of the pictures, I'm in awe. Board, we've been through a lot with Tinker waiting to get to this point. It's been many, many years, and we acknowledge that over at Tinker to get to this point to where 80% of this school will be paid for with DODEA grant funding. We pick up the other 20%. It is going to be nothing like it anywhere, and we're expected that completion to be in December of 2027. I want to, of course, extend my deepest gratitude to the leadership at MacDill Air Force Base. We talk about that partnership. This has been a long time in the making. I can remember back to 2017 with Jeff Akins and Colonel Snelson at the time was the wing commander. You remember that? We did the MOU, which basically said, which they both signed, basically saying that if they have the 80%, we will guarantee that we pick up that 20%. The board, a lot of you, Dr. Hahn, Ms. Perez, Ms. Gray, you guys were on the board at the time when we signed that MOU, and that got that ball rolling to eventually get the award of that grant. So thank you. It was a great morning. And then here we go. Saturday's the day. Seemed like a long way away, but Saturday's our annual 5K over at Blake High School. We're expecting over 1,400 students, runners, walkers that'll be there. Still time to sign up, so please do so. But really looking forward to this morning. So I know I'll see a lot of you there. Again, we're expecting over 1,400. And Mr. Porter's going to be there. I'm holding you under 24 minutes. All right. You got him, Miss Gray? Remember Gray? All right. So, again, we're going to have a bunch of folks that'll be out there. It's a great morning. And this is number 4 for us. Fourth year, right? I think it's year 4. Yeah, year 4. There. So I just have one more video I want to play. This was just on, I don't know if many of you had a chance to see it, but we have a team that is going to be at a world competition, and there was a cool clip that was just on the news that I want to make sure I share, but this was pretty cool, pretty inspiring. We have one of our high schools that's going to compete in a world competition. I thought this was pretty cool.
Well, everybody loves a good underdog story, and this one is certainly that. A few years ago, the robotics club at Middleton High School in Tampa was all but finished. Membership had dwindled down to just a few students.
But next week, this group of very smart students will compete for a world championship. ABC Action News reporter Sean Daly met the team as they prepare to engage in robot battle.
In a very crowded room at Middleton High School, some very smart students are preparing for a global robot throwdown.
Pranava, this is a big deal. The World Championships, you versus the world.
Absolutely, Sean. Listen, for the people at home, this is 600 teams. We got 50,000 people coming to the event. It is Last Alliance standing, and Minotaur, we hope, is going to come out on top.
I love it.
Absolutely.
That is a heck of a hype job. But let's back up a second. A few years ago, the robotics club at Middleton High was in trouble. Only a few kids remained. But this school's renewed support of STEM programs rebuilt the team into a juggernaut. Middleton Robotics is once again one of the best on the planet. Teacher coach Robert Dodson and administrators say,
unbelievably special group. They're going to be going to Worlds as a second-year team. It's an incredible accomplishment.
Next week, a sponsored traveling team of more than 50 kids will head to Houston to compete in the World Championships. The theme is environmental with real-world applications. Robots are tasked with cleaning an imaginary reef. It's all about precision and speed, and their robot is fast and tough.
There's multiple ways to score. You can shoot a ball in a big net, land a PVC on a tall pole, or even hang from a cage. That adds up for 2 minutes and 30 seconds of robot action. Robot action, I love it.
And these kids make this robot do all that.
I think we have the bot to prove it. I think we have what it takes to get it done. So hopefully, not hopefully, confidently, we're going to get this thing done.
They got the bot to prove it at Middleton High School. I am Sean Daly for ABC Action News.
Thank you for indulging me there. So April 15th, they'll be out competing. So next week, we'll see if we get some world championships. Super proud of them. And thanks to Sean Daly for doing that clip. It was pretty awesome. Yeah. That, Madam Chair, that's my updates.
That was awesome. All right, we will now move on to board member comments. Board members, just a reminder, you have 5 minutes each to speak with 30 seconds for final thoughts. And we'll start with Member Washington.
I'm going to start off saying, go Tigers. All right. Superintendent, I have a question for you. We need to get something cleared up here because it's just out there. And I want to clear it up. With NAACP and all what's going on, can you explain to us? They keep saying violation. What violations is going on? We need to tackle that elephant now.
Sure. Thank you, Member Washington. So the 2021, so board members, in 2021, there was an extension to the agreement that's currently being referred to. And I just want to kind of highlight some of that, the letter that came from the district at the time and what that actually stated, because I don't see any violation anywhere in here of any agreement. And I'm going to kind of go over it. And Mr. Porter, if you want to jump in, please do. But in that extension, in number 4, it says the provider, which is the NAACP, agrees to carry out the following activities. The NAACP has full use of select portables on the east side of Gary Adult School campus for the purpose of providing training, education, mentor space, and community partnership engagement space with the intent to supplement the school district. That is stated in number 4 of the extension that was approved by the board in 2021. Member Gray, you were the chair at the time. This was approved as item 4. I think where some of the discrepancies coming in is in section 8, where it talks about sublease. It says the organization does not have the right to sublease to or allow any other organization or person to use any portion of the site during the term of this agreement. Using the site has to do with subleasing that site out to external organizations is the way that I read that. The letter that was written from the school district to the NAACP, that was in I guess that was in November of 22. In November of 22, basically in our letter that went to the NAACP, it was that we wanted to remind the NAACP of its obligations not to deny any person the opportunity to participate in activities on the site. So I think some of the confusion, and Mr. Porter, if you could clarify just kind of what I don't see any violation. What I see is some misunderstanding of number 8, which talks about sublease of now allowing to external organizations. But clearly it states in 4 that the sole purpose of Gary is to allow for community partnership and engagement space within Gary. So that's how I see it.
Yeah, Mr. Superintendent, you're correct. And Mr. Washington, you have asked us to look at this. I've worked with Mr. Gibson, who, as you know, represents the district staff and is responsible for a lot of these agreements. We've looked at this. We don't see any violations. I will note for the record that one of the things we would be concerned about is insurance. The agreement requires the NAACP to have a certain amount of insurance. I've been advised that they've not only maintained that, but they've renewed it. So that's in effect. So from a liability standpoint, we feel comfortable that the agreement is being honored and that there's no violation and that the district is protected from any sort of harm that could happen at the site by someone else using it. And if Mr. Gibson needs to add anything, he can. But that's sort of where we are with this.
Thank you. So there's no violations. So I don't understand what's going on here. And I'm not going to sit up here on the dais and have a disagreement with you because you're an attorney. That's what you do as a person. And people we need to understand. We need to understand. We don't make no decision pertaining to contracts or MOAs, whatever it might be, without the proper procedure. Because if we're not doing it right, then we need to suffer the consequences. So I don't see where we're doing anything wrong. As of now, I don't. If we wrong, you wrong, or the superintendent is wrong. And I don't have any means because I don't read contracts. That's not what I do. That's not what Shake does. You know, we have you there and we have the superintendent and we follow them even though we are in charge. But we follow your lead, and you said there is no violations.
That's our understanding of right now. Yes, correct.
There's no violation. Thank you. Thank you. I don't need to discuss this anymore. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Member Washington. Member Gray?
Let me piggyback on that topic, and we all thank those heartfelt groups that participate with the NAACP. And my only two requests are, I would like a list of those groups, and I also would like to know if they are put into the category for those who have their own business as additional insured. So the list of groups, and if they are additionally insured. And I'll tell you why. Because when we get a lawsuit, and we've had some hefty ones, it affects our fund balance, it affects our assets in many, many ways. So fiduciarily responsible, I would like to have that information. And I want to jump down to nothing against these wonderful groups. They're doing great things for our children, but on the legal side, in terms of insurance, we must know that they are additionally insured. That's business 101. Second, and I had bad and good. I'll do the critical part first. There's been reports regarding the substitute educators from Kelly Services. So I ask you, Dr. Patton, when we have substitutes, they need to have the experience level of a trauma-based program. For instance, the National Dropout Prevention Center has adopted a great one, which we have had. The Children's Board has a trauma-based teaching unit. But what happens when children misbehave to that degree, a lot of them have faced domestic violence, food insecurity, all kinds of problems from the home base and going to the school. So I think it would be very wise to make sure that our subs are prepared for that affective domain. And if you will give me a report as to what you're doing, I would appreciate that. The other good thing is, and Pablo, don't put anything up yet, because I wanted to say one other thing. The Mayan, and I don't know whether Dr. Hahn, Member Hahn, will say this, but I'm just going to share it. The winners, the regional area with the highest average minutes read on Mayan during February will be recognized, and here they are. We had Shore Elementary Magnet School, Patricia J. Sullivan Partnership School, Limona Elementary School, Lincoln Elementary School, Mintz Elementary School, McDonald Elementary School, Graham Elementary School, Sulphur Springs K-8 Community School, Young Middle Magnet School, Williams Middle Magnet School, Leto High School, Durant High School, and all this is to say we're emphasizing literacy, and you have some really good data that suggests that they are doing a lot of reading, and those schools should be congratulated. So that's that. Put the slide up. Got it? Oh, yes. And Dr. Hahn, myself, Member Rendon, we went to the principal induction. We had great principals, and what's marvelous, and Ms. McCray, you realize as well, some of them are principals already, yet took a year-long course in depth. But what it reveals to me and to most of us is how well prepared our principals really are when they come to school. And these well, they were all gals. So these gals, and how many were they? Was there 19 or was it 15? About 12 of them. Yeah, I mean, they were just so heartfelt and concerned and care. They wanted to get better and better. So, Superintendent Van Ayers, you have some many mighty fine administrators, but I was just overwhelmed. And maybe Member Hahn and Member Rendon will also share that. Next slide, and I'm trying to be rushed because I want to get my time in. Human trafficking awareness. There is a bill coming, by the way. Oh, boy. We're having our event, though. Let's see. Oh, that's, Carrollwood K-8, inviting all board members. We have a panel of distinct professions ranging from the FBI, from the Hillsborough County Sheriff Office, No More Foundation, and other agencies. So I hope that you all can make it. Second slide, and that has to do with the Hillsborough Healthy Schools wants to share the annual Race for Education. I want to thank every one of them, those members, for their commitment to health and wellness, and hope every one of you can come, whether you walk or however you want to, whatever you want to do. It's a lot of fun. And Van Ayers, Superintendent Van Ayers, I don't know if you're going to beat Porter, but please do. Put him back in his place. He's getting a little bit, overconfident. Thanks, Member Vaughn.
Thank you. Member Press?
Yeah, Superintendent Ayers, we've had several community members, parents concerned about ICE coming to the schools. Just for transparency's sake, do we have a policy that protects our students?
We have we have procedures that all of our schools follow regarding how we deal with law enforcement. So we've readdressed that with principals, kind of shared all that information out. So we have our way of work, procedures around how we deal with law enforcement officials. I don't believe there's a specific policy. Shay, is there a specific policy around it?
Yes, we do have a policy in that school board policy 5540 that governs our way of work with law enforcement, which includes our immigration officers. So yes, ma'am, we have a policy in place that protects our students. And so school board policy 5540.
Thank you.
And if I could add too, I mean, it's hard to do this stuff from the days, Ms. Perez. Your question is very timely. Earlier in the year, there was guidance put out by the district. Ms. McCray has also supplemented that. So I think it would probably be helpful if we resent that to everyone, and so that you all have it, and then you can push it out to your constituents as needed, as opposed to trying to get into it now piecemeal. It is a pretty comprehensive response that Ms. McCray did with the assistance of Mr. Gibson, and so I think that will be helpful, and we'll do that.
I just wanted to reassure the community that there was something in place, because there's an angst out there that feels that we don't have something in place. And I'm just going to go back to the change of placement, because I continue to have conversations with our parents. How are we helping schools with executing a sustainable preventive measure with fidelity? And how are we monitoring it? Because it appears that in some cases that we're going straight for the change of placement. And there has there been real comprehensive training on the matrix on how to properly code, and who is monitoring this to ensure that it's up to date? Because I feel the data that I've received is either not up to date or not accurate.
Yeah, so I mean, Dr. Gray, you can jump in, but all of our change of placements, it's not just a school that says we're going to go for a change of place and move to a hearing. That is a process where they'll go through the regional superintendent, go through Dr. Gray's, and of course through Mr. Rowan's office. So, Dr. Gray's, if you want to talk, briefly, just kind of talk through that.
Yes, thank you, Ms. Perez, for the question. And so one of the things that we first worked on beginning in the summer was the change of a placement process. And so those numbers that have been shared, that's real data, that's accurate data that has come in through Mike Rowan's office. And I'll just share some updates just to give a comparison of where we are this year with change of placement data compared to last year. And a lot of that has to do with the procedures that have been put in place, the oversight that has been put in place, that region superintendents have to follow, a process that the principals and site administrators have to follow as well. So as of year to date, and this is data based off of April 4th, so we are down overall 50% when it comes to students who have been recommended or referred to a change of placement. So that's 508 students less than compared to last year at this time. For when you look at the various subgroups and building levels, 45% decrease for Black students, 57% decrease for Hispanic or Latino students, 50% decrease for ESE students, 58% decrease for middle school students, and then a 34% decrease for high school students. So again, we are putting some procedures in place that's decreasing the overall numbers, but also trying to balance the fact that administrators at their site need to be able to have procedures in place to maintain order as well and protect other students.
Thank you. Because I had an example, and Dr. Grace was on the phone with me, where a parent, it was showing different data than what the parent was receiving. And what is the current role of the director and the transition coordinators while in these hearings if they're not contributing to the discussion or decisions that are being made?
So they are there as after the decision has been made, the placement decision. They help the parents by answering any questions that they may have regarding the enrollment process to the alternative site, getting student records, transitioning to the sites, getting orientation. So they are there to help after that decision has been made.
Okay. So can you provide all the board members, including myself, the number of arrests that have been made, excluding the code, 81s by race and gender, and the level of grade for this year, please?
Yes, I can get that information to you.
Thank you.
All right. Is that all, Member Perez? Okay. Member Combs?
Okay. Thank you. And thank you, Mr. Graves. I think that you did a great job with all that information and giving us all that information so quickly. So thank you. I just want to say a couple things. One of the things I really think it's important is a call to action. When you look at our accelerated programs and what's at risk now, we're looking at $19 million. It's really important. You know, I feel like that's one of my jobs as a school board member is to really inform parents in the community what's happening. When I look and I have friends who go to private schools or religious schools, I'm seeing a huge increase in the tuition. When we look at our base student allocation of less than $65, I think it's pitiful, and I think it's just so concerning when we're 50th funded in the nation as far as education, and now we're looking at cuts, and we're also looking when you have a parent coming up here talking about that their child doesn't have a teacher, and I think, let me tell you why. It's because of salaries. When you look at speech and language therapists, one of the main reasons they're not there is because of salary. So our most important asset, I say all the time, is not gold, it's not oil, it's not minerals, it's our students. So it's very important as Floridians that we make sure we do a call of action and talk to our governor, talk to our state representatives and say our students expect more and we deserve more. And I think it's very important. I think that's one of my main jobs here as a school board member. And with that, I'll just go to something lighter. I wanted to just say thank you to Christina Alvarez. What an amazing principal at Alexander for 17 years. She's still in the district, still working with ESE students. We have so many committed individuals. My concern is, like, who's coming in after that? You know, who are those Christina Alvarez's coming? Where are those, you know, I look around all the people, who's coming after this, and how are we going to attract and retain people in our district? So it's very, very important. I want to thank the FACE community and Christina for the Parent Community Center. We've already have over 1,000 services, and the great thing is that community center is going out to parents and helping parents. It's helping parents stay in our schools, you know, get the services, understand how to go through our school system, as well as tutoring. Thank you to Dr. Patton, who's working closely. We're able to also recruit some individuals through that. Just a couple of reminders, Future Career Academy, which I think is just a great program. They're having their events today, April 10th and 11th. I know I'll be out at the Tampa Convention Center, you know, not just for our students, but also afterwards for people who are looking for jobs. And then April 16th and 17th, the HCC Regent, and the April 26th to HCC, the Trinkle Center. And then, Pablo, I wanted to share a video with collaboration with USF and the Professor Stephanie Tannenbaum, who is amazing. The Smithsonian Institute wrote a scholarship, and at the end of spring break, I was able to go with these amazing individuals. And one of them was Mr. Dotson, who is going there for Middleton for the robotics. These are all, teachers who are on the Noyce Master Teacher List. These are all people who are in the STEM program who could be making so much more money, who are really committed to our students, who took the end of their spring break to learn on, and our Logic project that we'll be working closely with you, Superintendent, is really how to attract teachers into the STEM field. I mean, really making sure that we have that. And so that was, you know, we spent several days working with other, you know, counties throughout the country and talking about the STEM and how are we able to attract and retain teachers. But our main focus on our Logic model is working on attracting and working in some of those urban schools. So you're going to hear a lot more from us, from USF, and working along this. This is a long-term project. And then finally, you know, we go to so many great events all the time, and I wanted to show, because I have a great picture of Dr. Whalen here, because the last time it was such a bad picture, I made sure I had a great picture of her. And for the Athena Society, which they, you know, looked at 10 inspiring women who are in public schools and our private schools. And it's amazing. And some of these young ladies, they've come in here and spoken. Hope, one of the young girls from Plant High School, she said she found her boy's voice here at the school board meeting. So that was amazing to see these young individuals. So I just want to say congratulations to all of them. And they are going to make huge waves in this world. So it's very exciting. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Combs. Dr. Hahn.
Thank you, Chair Vaughn. So I want to congratulate the Middleton Tigers. How exciting for their STEM robotics club to be competing at the world level. You know, these STEM robotics clubs are all across our community, and I think sometimes we don't realize the impact beyond the academics that kids are receiving from these types of programs. You know, it's these coaches of these STEM clubs, they're motivating their students to the point where they're showing up for school, so their attendance is better. They're not acting out. Their behavior is better. Their academics is better because they're excited about what they're learning in robotics. So it has like this huge ripple impact. And these coaches of these teams, you know, they're working weekends, nights, they're traveling with the students, and they're writing grants, and they're spending hours upon hours of filling out the applications for these competitions. And I've been saying this since the first year on this board with Superintendent Akins. Honestly, these coaches deserve a stipend. I've had the conversation many times, and since I had an opportunity tonight to bring it up, you know, these coaches the flag football coaches get a stipend. You know, lots of our extracurricular activities and club teachers get a stipend. And I think these folks deserve a stipend too. So I'm going to say it from the dais, loud and proud. Okay. Maybe it'll get some traction. So lots of great events that were already touched upon. One being the Tinker groundbreaking. That was really I'm still really excited about it. I just want to go visit it and look at it every day. Because there was just so many people, including every person sitting up on this dais, that really got behind this project. And to look at that crowd that day and see the diverse people from all different types of industry and that were supporting this and behind it, it was overwhelming. So I'm really excited about it. It's going to be a net zero school. I think it's, first in the country. And it was a 20-80 split, so, that's a good deal. Can't beat that deal. I had a great Saturday morning at the name dedication for Adam Pre-K Aid. It was so heartwarming to hear everybody speak about Mr. Adam. I did not know him personally, but I feel like I do now. He was obviously deeply respected and cherished by his family and his friends and everybody that worked with him. So that was a really great way to spend a Saturday morning. And then last Thursday, I attended the Junior Achievement Innovators Showcase, where all the 3DE juniors, not just Hillsborough County, but other counties that have 3DE programs, did their pitches. They were phenomenal. It was really exciting. It was a great event. Yesterday, I joined my fellow board members, as Member Gray shared, at the principals celebration, the induction program. Some of the hardest working people in our schools, for sure. They set the tone for our schools each and every day. So I was honored to be a part of that. We're having my next early childhood literacy fair Saturday, May 3rd, kickoff summer reading with free books at Belmont Elementary School from 9 to 11:30. More will come on that. And Mayan numbers for March, almost 500,000 books were accessed just in the month of March. About 110 were completely read, and over 47,000 hours of reading took place on Mayan. We have summer reading challenges coming up through Mayan, June through July, and the street teams will visit our schools this summer. If you're a board member and you haven't been able to spend some time at a school when the street team is there, go. It is so much fun. These are these young college kids who visit the schools and really get kids excited about reading. And it's just fun to kind of see them interact with the kids, and they give out summer prizes for reading. So I appreciate Mayan continuing the deep and the great work that they're doing on inspiring kids to read and getting digital books in their hands in both English and Spanish. So I believe that is all my comments, and everybody have a great night.
Thank you, Dr. Hahn. Member Rundon?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Lots have been going on when we had a board meeting canceled. First, let me thank Helos and Mayan for the read to the Final Four with the NCAA. Over 500,000 minutes were read by third graders around Hillsborough County, all for 14 schools to be the finalists to actually go to Turneytown at the convention center. A lot of fun for us and for the students. And congratulations to Limona, because they were the winners of the read to the Final Four, and then Helos donated $1,000 to all 14 schools, so that was fantastic. Today, I want to thank the CUP, Lavoy, Pepin, Tampa PD, Tampa Fire Department for coming out for Autism Awareness and Autism Acceptance Day, really identifying areas in which our students with autism are out in the community and doing great things. And one of those is the CUP, and they're in multiple locations now at down off of Del Mabry, over here in the Embarcadero Center, as well as our St. Joe's doing an opening there. So we're excited about what they're doing. I also want to thank the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for Battleground, the second tournament that they've had there with Leonard High School and Bloomingdale High School. It was a great night for them. The students got to tour the entire facilities. all of the area. Players were out there. It was a wonderful experience. I want to thank the NAACP for the AXO competition that they had last Saturday. Architecture, essay, playwriting, poetry, drawing, painting, dance, music, computer science, earth and space, physics, and first ever culinary and hospitality competition. The national individual came out and worked that culinary program. And so they competed and now go on to nationals in North Carolina. I want to thank them for all of that. I think it's so very important, the things that are going around with our district, the Athenia Society. So many of our students are doing amazing, amazing things. As I said, the Athenia Society, I would never have been in the book. These students are doing far more than we ever could have dreamed. And it's because of our administrators, our teachers, our staff in Hillsborough County Schools. They go above and beyond every single day. And we absolutely need to make sure that we are 100% focused on the needs of each and one of our schools. Over spring break, and then right after, Bloomingdale High School, Sumner High School, and Jefferson High School were at the Capitol, actually meeting in committee meetings, going after their bills, going after the things that are very important to our students and to our community. And so those staff stopped their spring break to make sure those students were there living out what they believe is a dream come true, to be at the Capitol, to be able to sit in those legislative chairs, to be able to testify on things that were so meaningful to them. So I believe that we need to take this time to make sure that all of our staff are the priority in every single decision we make, because they're the ones that are leading and guiding our students every single day. I am very appreciative from Chair Vaughn for, before any one of us had an opportunity, made sure that she got out there, making sure that we have a workshop on the number of staff and the needs of our schools. I thank her very much for that. But that doesn't mean that right now, before we ever have that workshop, that we don't prioritize the needs of every one of our schools every single day. The ESE specialists, the reading coaches, the staff that are there. Right now, the way we are identifying the needs of our high schools, we're going to have critical services of English, of math classes, upwards of 35 to 40 students in every single one of those. We have to prioritize differently in our schools. Absolutely, our students and our teachers and our administrators and those school sites have to be the focus. I don't think any other budget should be identified until that is identified first. We know there's other funding sources out there. We know there's other things out there, but I am not going to stop preaching until the day we identify the needs of a school first. Not where they have to go back and beg. Not where they have to go back and identify, okay, you gave me 5, I'll take 3. That's absolutely insanity. That never makes it a priority that our teachers and our students are first priority in this district. They need to be, and our needs assessment, all that needs assessment does is ask the principal how they're going to work with the units we give them. Never are they the first discussion in this discussion, where principals come before Ms. McCray, Dr. Grays, the assistant superintendents, regional superintendents, where they identify their needs first. And then we go and talk about what's after that. But I'm not going to stop with the fact that our schools have to be the first priority for all of our decision making in this district. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Rendon. So I'm going to just take care of a little bit of housekeeping first. Well, first of all, happy birthday, belated birthday shake. I know we had a board meeting close enough to your birthday to say happy birthday. So we hope you had a great birthday. I did want to follow up on a few things where speakers spoke today. As far as this ESE Center Committee, I would like to know the kind of platform and requests that they put together, that they identified. I know they mentioned resources and some other things. I'd like to know what that looks like, and if there are minutes of those meetings, I'd love to be able to see what those look like, to get a scope, since we're not in those committee meetings, to know what's being said and what they're asking for. Also, I'm not sure who we should talk to, but I'm having a lot of concerns about Canvas right now, parental access to it in different sides. So I'm not sure. I know I'm having some issues on my end as well. So I'm not sure. Canvas, our parents and our students log in, and who
Shay McCray.
Shay, okay, you'll follow up with me on a contact with Canvas. Okay, I appreciate that. Also, you know, I don't really want to get into a huge amount of it, but in regards to, I appreciate Member Perez clarifying again what we've done to support our schools and our students when we're talking about new immigration policies and ICE coming in. We have been proactive about that, and we want to do everything within the scope of the law to protect our students. One thing I would like clarification, and I'm getting misinformation about, and this is just to make sure that when we are offering due process to everyone in our district and protecting our parental rights, which is the law of the land, is just to get clarification around the warrant issue. Because I know some districts, they mentioned that Lee County and Polk County. So I just want to, if we can, compare to other counties to make sure that we are in line and make sure, because I know it's very conflicting information and it's hard to get, but since that was specifically spoken about, if we can clarify or verify about that. And I think that's it for as far as housekeeping. I do have some thoughts on Kelly staffing, but we'll continue to talk about that. That kind of leads me into, I went over the weekend to the NSBA, the National School Board Association Conference. That was a whirlwind of information. I brought back a lot to share with the district, and some of them were around supporting substitute teachers, even if you've outsourced them, and what that looks like, and making sure they're prepared. So I appreciate you bringing that up. The conference, again, was amazing, and I can't wait to share with the district some things that I learned. It would have been nice if some other Hillsborough people were there. It was a little bit lonely, but I still got as much information as I possibly could. Also, ADAM K-8 names ceremony was so beautiful and impactful and emotional, and just to see what we could offer for a school that's fully supported to our students is amazing. That school is amazing. I just hope we're able to offer that to all of our students because they deserve it. But I love that. Thank you for being a part of that. Thank you to the ADAM family for having so much love to that school and so much dedication, and just the people who work there. There's just so much love being invested into that school. I also went to Carrollwood K-8's cultural. They had their first cultural night, and it was phenomenal. They had so many foods from around the world, so many stations teaching about countries. They had performances from Bollywood dancers to the drum line. I just want to give a shout out to Carrollwood K-8. Their PTA is really doing amazing things at that school. And most of all, I got so much feedback from the families about the decision we made to make that a K-8 and how it's really positively impacted their life, and even some of the staff who have come back. So, I just want to reassure this board that that was a decision the community really, really appreciates. So I wanted to bring up that. Happy Assistant Principal and Vice Principal Week. Thank you so much to all of our support administrators. You did an amazing job. And finally, I just want to talk about Nature's Classroom. So I think I have 58 seconds. Pablo, if you can put on. So I went out to Nature's Classroom today, which if any of the board members haven't been there in a long time, I really urge you to go again. The administrator there has such great vision and is doing amazing things. And I know that part of our millage talked about a redesign of Nature's Classroom, and she has so many great ideas to involve the community, to offer it for so many resources. This weekend, they're actually having an open house. So if you haven't had an opportunity to go there with your children, or the 6th grade, please come and check it out. There is a $20 parking carload fee I want to mention, but come out, see the animals, see the boardwalk, do some shore sampling, hold an alligator. It's amazing, and I'm just really so happy that we have Nature's Classroom and the leadership there, and can offer that not only to our 6th graders, but so many things, summer camp. So please, members, if you haven't been there, get out to Nature's Classroom. It's a great, great, great resource we have. And with that, I am out of time. So seeing that there's no further business, this meeting's adjourned.